Tim Rogers, Dodgers 2080. I am with Alex Malaret. Is that right? Malaret or Malaret?
I go Malaret. Either whatever's easier.
Okay, Malaret it is. That's what I was like. Wait a minute, it's got a T. Okay, hopefully, because I'll forget it next time too. That's how I roll these days. So yeah, here we are with Alex. We have another conversation going on where I talk with Trinidad.
Mm,
And so, we couldn't really all sync up together, but now we're gonna, have two different videos with lots of conversation. They're not going to be the same. I'm not going to necessarily ask the same
right,
questions. Some of them will come up,
right,
but we're just going to have a good time talking about baseball, talking about the winter meetings that starts tomorrow in San Diego. I will be
right.
there for a little bit of it. I don't have a media pass, but I will be hooking up with some of my former Dodgers Nation compadres um, to go and just hang out there, maybe do some video type stuff and have dinner together, which would be cool.
Definitely.
Um,
Perfect.
yeah, Alex, how are you been?
I've been good, getting ready, doing some Christmas shopping, doing some Black Friday shopping,
Yeah,
getting some
right,
deals.
right on. So the winter meetings, man, they're coming. Um,
Fast
it,
too.
yeah, it's coming. It's coming fast. We've got I would say, or some would say, an incomplete Dodgers team. I think we actually could have it's kind of closer in my opinion than some people think. But
Mm,
we do have some spots, a lot of question marks that
right,
no one's decided to answer yet, either by making a move or just going, Miguel Vargas is my third baseman, or
right,
Michael Busch is my second, or whatever. We
right,
hear a bit of Lux and all that, but so nothing's kind of in stone, other than we have Will Smith as catcher, we have Freddie Freeman at first, and we have Mookie Betts in right field, and it seems like
right.
the rest of us kind of wide open. So what I'd like to do, we can go position by position.
Mhm,
I think we can start with, I know we've covered some of the pitching before.
right,
We could talk about that a bit more. So let's start, kind of right now. The hot topic, of course, is, my wife and I are driving to the restaurant last night, and I
yeah,
see something come up on my Twitter account.
right.
It's like, what? Jacob DeGrom signs for 5 years, $185 million. You talk
Yeah,
about inflation. My goodness. My goodness. Good for the
yeah,
Rangers and good for DeGrom, but dang. So obviously he's not going to be a Dodger. And
right,
there's rumors out there, of course, about Rodon and Verlander.
right.
But first of all, I would think the price has just gone up on both those guys, but and then
100%.
maybe any other starters. What are your thoughts about the starting rotation right now for the Dodgers, and what do you think they could do during these winter meetings?
Yeah, I mean, as it stands, Dodger fans are probably not gonna like to hear this, but I think if we do nothing, we have a pretty good rotation. I think I mentioned in previous videos, we just don't have enough space. Even if say we even picked up Tyler Anderson, we don't have enough space for all the three prospects that are probably going to be ready by next year, mid next year. Late
Hmm.
Pepiot probably needs. I mean, he's probably ready to take over the fifth spot. That leaves Kershaw, Urias, May, and Gosling. That's if we don't
Yeah,
sign anybody.
yeah,
Um, but with that being said, I think I was thinking maybe it would make sense to get Verlander for a year to stopgap because I think when Bueller does come back at the end of next year, I think it would be a great stopgap. But does he want 3 years at 40 or 41? I don't think
goodness.
I don't think Freeman comes close to that. I think maybe a 1 year deal, maybe a 2 year deal,
Yeah,
something. But 3 years, 40 million a year, I don't think so. I don't see him pulling the trigger on that. Just the probabilities on him getting injured or regressing or all the above are just so high. I would say that I don't think he pulls the trigger. I think the most realistic option, and I've said this before, that I think that if they're going to sign any starting pitcher, it would have to be an upgrade. It had to be a top flight because even May or Gosling. I mean, Gosling was pretty good.
hmm,
May, he's coming back from Tommy John, so I know that his control was an issue, but
yeah,
usually for Tommy John, control is the last piece. So, but we know what May was, You know what he can be.
Yeah.
His stuff is you're not going to limit May's innings.
Um,
He's a
Yeah.
1A potential.
Yeah.
So I think really the realistic option I think would be Rodon, to be
Okay.
honest. And just
Yeah.
looking at his how his performance, I know it's a little bit sketchy, but he seems like he turned the corner. The last 2 years have been he's consistently what 12K per nine. His
Hmm.
hits have been 6.2 per nine. Um, he's elite. The only thing I would say that maybe detracts that is, are you going to give the money to that maybe could have gone to Udias next year
Yeah.
to Rodon if you're going to lock him up 4 or 5 years? Would you rather have Rodon for 4 or 5 or Udias at 4 or 5? I think
Yeah. Such a
and
good
plus he's
point.
homegrown. It's just there's a huge Mexican fan base in LA. Obviously,
Yep.
it would be. I think obviously it has to be mutual. His agent is Scott Boris, but
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's just, I mean, just be realistic. He's going to be what 26, 27 in open market, just
Yeah.
stud his whole career, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, so that would be kind of the big question mark, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think Rodon is like really now that DeGrom is out, obviously good for him. 35 million for 5 years for what 120 innings pitched for the last 3 years.
Yeah. It's
But it was
absurd.
his first time in free agency, so
Yeah.
I get it. He had to secure the big payday. But
Boy, he sure
aside from him,
did.
I don't see anyone as a huge or any moving the needle for the Dodgers outside of Rodon at this point.
Right.
Verlander too, but is he going to take a 2 year deal or 1 year plus a player or team out? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just blows me away, first of all, that the Mets sounds like they're heavy into Verlander. They may go have
We'll
a
have to
30,
pivot, right? I mean,
yeah, but they could go into the season with a 38-year-old Scherzer who did wear out last year and was hurt a bit, and a
right?
40-year-old Verlander who, like you said, at any moment that stuff's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
obviously with age, it's like that's just father time is just it's
yeah,
just reality.
yeah. I mean, unless he can Nolan Ryan it and pitch another few good years, which you never know. He could,
You could.
but I
That's
think
right. The probability is against that though.
I mean
Or maintaining that eliteness for
yeah. I mean, last year the
health.
Dodgers wouldn't give Scherzer that contract, and he was younger.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
and now they're
And Verlander's 2 to 3 years older.
yeah. So I'm like,
So
really? I don't know. I could see 2 years with an option, maybe something like that, but
right.
you know, it's I just will not be surprised if he doesn't sign with the Dodgers. I think he will sign with the Mets. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Um,
The
but
thing
yeah,
is too
we'll
also
see.
that Freeman loves seems like he loves left-handed starters. Um
Yeah.
we have we only have two now, like with Diaz and Kershaw. And Kershaw typically is good for what 17, 20 starts, we'll say.
Yeah. We're
To be
lucky.
honest, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to push him. You just want him ready for the postseason.
Yeah.
So
That's the goal, right?
that's all that matters at this. Yeah, I think they've structured the roster where the postseason is expected, and you just want to be healthy and on fire in all gears at this point.
Yeah, and all the young guys coming up for the
You're gonna need
rotation,
innings, yeah,
those are
100%.
all right-handers though also.
Right, exactly. So I could see, maybe Rodon is someone that they maybe so it doesn't use they can't use UDS as much leverage against the Dodgers next year when you know
I just
most I mean they're
man,
gonna use leverage anyway. It doesn't matter what they do, but
I am hoping. I know he's got Boris as his agent. I get it,
yeah,
but I still hope the Dodgers find a way right now to try to sign him.
oh,
Um,
100%.
because I do think that, and you brought it up, not just the Mexican fans, but the guy is beloved, despite what happened in 2019 with him, with his incident.
Yeah,
Um, but he's a guy. He's our guy. They
100%.
they signed him when he was 16,
Willing to
and
do anything for the team. I mean,
yeah,
he's
and
never
we've
compl I mean, he's made it, but he's never made us think about,
right,
starting earlier or, having to be used out of the bullpen in the
yeah,
postseason.
he's always been
He'll
willing
do
to,
what, yeah, he'll do what
yeah,
the coach tells him to do. And I've never heard really any issue or press that he was a bad teammate or he's
no, not at all,
a distraction or that's
no,
kind of someone you would, he's
yeah,
young, like 26, right?
yeah, He should be a
He was
Dodger for life. He's that type of guy.
he's like Fernando. He could be our Fernando, this generation's
Exactly.
Fernando, right?
Yeah. And I mean, no one's ever going to make an impact like Fernando again.
Right,
But
right.
still, it's always followed that. You know,
He's been nails in the
yeah.
postseason.
Oh yeah, the
He's
guy. Yeah,
and he took over the number one spot. Bueller went down, and there was no drop off.
yeah.
He's the number one guy.
Yep, he's the ace,
He
and
just is.
he should start on opening day. And there's no
Yeah,
question.
he's the number one guy.
People say, well, Kershaw. Yeah, I get that,
That's more
but
for sentimental, but
it
you
is.
know, Urias is going to give you 31, 32 starts a season.
Yeah,
He's not going to complain. He's not going to break down.
yeah,
Which Kershaw obviously he's done is he's paid his dues and
yeah.
he kind of carried us literally his back
I
game. I carried us for what 10 plus years.
Yeah,
So,
with Urias, it's 6 innings plus 1 run, usually a solo home run. That's about it.
no walks,
Yeah,
few walks,
yeah, but in general,
good strikeouts.
he's striking out a guy an inning.
He should have been a Cy Young. Let's be honest. This year and
Yeah,
last year, I mean, he could have just. Arguably, he's a top three pitcher for the last 2 years.
yeah,
He's entering his prime. He's only what 26, 27. I
yeah.
mean,
He's 20. Let me get this right. Hold on.
because he
Yeah,
started
he's
pitching at
26.
18, 19. So
Yeah, he's 2 years older than my youngest, and they're both August babies.
gotcha.
So yeah, so that's
Easy to
how
track.
yeah, yeah. He's kind of like Julio. We always kind of treated it, like he's one of our sons. We went and saw him in New York for his debut.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right. You mentioned that.
so we're big fans of Julio, and
Right.
yeah. So yeah, to me that is just talking. I didn't even think about
Lingering.
this. That should be the
Yeah.
number one priority of the Dodgers is sign Julio. In
I
my
think
opinion.
I think he deserves it. He's not just.
Mhm.
He's entering his prime. So, I mean, age is not going to be a factor. It's not like he's
Yeah.
36, 37.
Yeah,
Um,
they don't need to play this game of, oh, we don't want to sign starting pitchers. No. This is different. He's not Kershaw,
yeah.
but he's close. He's kind of
I
in some
mean,
ways close in terms
yeah.
of he's a Dodger. He's one of ours. He's someone that the fans adore.
And then what is he already this year with what, 2.3?
No, it's absurdly low. I
Last
mean,
year was what, 2.7?
yeah, I mean he just keeps getting
Consistent.
better.
I don't think he's been over 3 because he's in the bullpen, yeah, but
Yeah,
he's consistently great. So I think
he's earned
Friedman
it.
has a history of spending. He does spend on top flight talent. I think Julio's that guy.
Hmm.
As crazy as it is, I think he's actually underrated. He's
Oh,
under the
absolutely.
radar for
It's
what he does.
still didn't
I mean,
make the All-Star team last year. It was just absurd.
he what did he finish third in Cy Young voting or
Cy Young, he got second.
right? But he only
Yeah,
got
I
he
had
got
no problem with that. I mean, if you look at WAR and all that stuff, he wasn't near close to Alcantara.
right.
Blah, blah. I had that long name, who was really good
The
for the
good guy,
Marlins.
good guy in Miami.
He
Yeah.
was good, but yeah, I mean, Julio is and he should be a Dodger, and it's just
Right.
I
I think Freeman
still
does break the bank for top talent, and he's a top
I think he
talent.
does
Yeah.
because I mean, even though I was kind of okay with it, you know, Corey Seager should be a Dodger. Too late, but he should have been a
Yeah,
Dodger.
but
But
the
they
thing
want
is, too,
Boris. They got Boris, and if you have Boris, that was a different story. But if you look at man, Corey, he was just another one for us. He's still one of a household favorite.
yeah.
Um, and he,
I mean, the problem is, I think that sometimes as fans don't realize when you're a free agent,
mhm.
it's two ways. I mean, the LA can want you back, but at the end of the day, also it has to be both ways.
Yeah, and he got
But that's why I think that's what's in favor for Woodius. I mean,
yeah.
huge
Well,
fan base. He's from Mexico, huge fan base in Los Angeles.
yeah. I mean,
Huge support.
Texas did an
Texas
overpay.
too. The
Yeah,
Rangers can't have everyone though. Come on.
no, but they did an overpay for Corey. I mean, he
Right.
got paid really, way more than.
Was it overpay? I mean, he still was
Yeah,
pretty young. He's
yeah.
I mean, for a
I, I
shortstop.
I think so because he struck. So Boris struck at the right time. It was right
Right.
before the lockout, and
Right.
the Rangers are trying to make a point, and the Rangers did an overpay for DeGrom. No one else is going to give him that money, but
I do.
that's
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think.
So the Rangers are out
The
there
risk.
spending money, and so who knows what other guy they're going to go get. Maybe they go get Rodon also.
They're gonna have to run out
But
of money at some point because they gave the same. They gave a huge
yeah,
contract to
Semyon.
Simeon in a second too as
Yep.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah, at some point you gotta slow down. But hopefully, we'll see, right?
Well, those are the contracts that get a GM fired if they don't
Yeah.
work
But
out.
Seager was what, 10 years, 30, 320?
Yeah, something like 320 or 330,
32 a
325.
year, I don't think is an overpay
But
for Seager.
for 10 for a guy that's not that's, going to
Probably gonna play
not be
third base.
I don't think he's a third baseman. I don't think he's got it. I think he's a first baseman at the end of
Really?
the day. Another few years.
I think his arms. I mean, well, as a first baseman, that's gonna. I mean, his bat's gonna play, but
Yeah,
it's not for a
still,
first baseman.
but at third, I mean, it's a completely different position. It's all reaction. And
Right.
I don't know. I never noticed Corey being the reaction guy. I
Yeah.
mean,
I know his arm plays up for third.
I
I don't know
don't
if his glove
know.
would.
Yeah, but I just think that he should. I just kind of wish he was still a Dodger because
100%.
we've lost. If the Dodgers, decide to, let's just say they go, hey, we're going to go all in and we're going to, sign Verlander and sign Bogarts. It's two more non-Dodgers that are taking spots from future
Right.
Dodgers. And I'd like
But
to
I do
see
think
us
that.
build that team
Mhm.
back, build a farm system and let that farm system percolate up to the top because that team that we had that finally won it all in 2020, that was 14 of that 28, those 28
Yeah, we had
players
that wave of
were
prospects
homegrown.
in
They were,
2019.
yeah.
The
And
thing I
now,
do see, yeah, the thing I do see with a shortstop position is that if it does get filled long term, it's the thing is we don't have really any shortstop coming up. We do have Jacob Amaya, but
yeah,
is he gonna
Lux.
be? Is he a top 30, top 50 prospect? Maybe.
Yeah,
He,
he's a top. He's been in the top 15 for a bit.
for
It's
the
really,
Dodgers,
yeah, for
right?
the
But
Dodgers. But yeah, overall, no, 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 no.
right,
But it's a matter of, so the way I look at Amaya, I actually, the way you've probably seen it. I want Amaya as the shortstop. I don't
yeah,
want Lux at short. I want Lux to stay at second.
right,
And all I do, I just bat Amaya ninth.
right.
And
Well,
say,
the
don't,
glove. I mean, the glove plays.
yeah, don't
The
worry about
defense
hitting.
plays. That's
Yeah,
pretty central for a shortstop. I think he's in the mold, maybe like Miguel Rojas.
yeah, something
A
like
little bit
that.
better bat,
He might. He
and
might.
it's not. I mean, that's what he was like a 4 WAR, 3.5 per year.
Yeah, that guy's,
That's not. I
that,
mean, that's
yeah, that guy
nothing
was
wrong with
actually,
that
he's not a bad ball player at
for
all,
league
but
minimum. That's not bad.
yeah. So I'd like to see that.
I think he
Just
gets
be,
playing time, but
I
we'll see if
hope
they
so.
commit him future as a future shortstop moving forward.
Yeah, it will be interesting because right now the talk, Doc says is Lux right now that they'll give him a shot.
Just that he says it's Lux, it's probably not going to be Lux. The
Yeah,
Dodgers.
I know. It might all be.
Anything you
Might
hear
miss
that's
all
going
the
to happen,
games.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
usually
all
the
of a sudden,
most obscure.
Carlos Correa is our shortstop.
Exactly.
Mookie Betts is in center, and Aaron Judge is in right, and we got
Exactly. There
Rodon
you
and
go.
Verlander. I mean,
Usually, yeah. Usually, as little news as possible is when you see the Dodgers
yeah.
make a
Oh,
trade or whatever.
that's true because when it's been dry, all of a sudden, after 20,
17 trade by the Dodgers. Like
yeah,
just
with
yeah.
Adrian Gonzalez and all that type of stuff, and
Even
then
Mookie,
yeah, Mookie that came out
everybody,
of
yeah.
yeah Mookie, and then even
Friedman signing, like it's always been pretty
yeah,
tight-lipped.
I mean getting Bauer was a shock.
Exactly, but
I
I mean, there was floating, but it wasn't it was
yeah
like I
yeah
don't think we were in discussion at all.
yeah, and then even after 2018 when they made the Puig Kemp Alex Wood
100%,
trade and got Jeter Downs and Josiah Gray, which was
100%.
a brilliant trade. So who knows with Friedman, he always if he
You'll
does make a
find out
move,
when it breaks. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
exactly,
when you
and
find out when it happens.
it's gonna be way off the wall. That it's like oh good move, like when they got
I never saw that.
yeah,
I
well
didn't think that was possible.
when they
Yeah,
made the original Matt Kemp trade for Grandal,
yeah,
um
and that
a
play. I
lot of
mean,
people are like, what? but Grandal was a pretty darn good catcher for us. A little, defensively we had some issues, but he was a
Yeah, but
pretty
to get
good.
value out of catcher, get what
Oh
that kind of
yeah,
value that you can't. So
yeah,
it's just easier to get that out of an outfielder than to get as a catcher.
yeah,
That's why I mean I think that's why the Dodgers stacked catcher position as well, is because it's so much easier to trade, even if value wise.
yeah, yeah.
If a catcher hits league average, he's probably a starter somewhere. Let's be
Right.
honest.
Yeah, and that's why Will Smith is so valuable. Is
Oh yeah,
the guys right now since Trey Turner's supposedly gone. Will's one of our top three hitters right now.
yeah. I mean,
So
he was a DH, right? I mean, he took over the DH duties, when he wasn't catching the.
oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, he's one of our most clutch hitters.
yeah.
I'm wondering if they move forward with trying out Will Smith at third base here and there. I know they've tried it before. Obviously, his bat is much more valuable at catcher, but you know how the
Yeah.
Dodgers are currently constructed. Maybe a backup plan or
Yeah. I mean, the guy has that experience in college
100%.
and even in minors for a bit, but
Yeah,
then they stopped doing that. I think part of it is they're trying to make him a better catcher, and
right.
he is improving. Um, but the catch, to become a catcher these days is even more than it's ever been.
Right.
Um, so all they just had, they have, I guess they just had to dedicate that time to him
But yeah, it's a
being
full
a
time.
catcher.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
And what's
yeah.
funny is Smith, he was drafted as a defense first catcher. Now it's
hmm
his bat is what everyone talks about.
It exploded. I mean, in 2019 when he came up, I mean, he was having a good year at
Yeah. His play
OKC.
discipline was good, but then the power
Yeah.
really started just coming through.
Yeah. No, he's clearly a terribly valuable player that yeah,
He's
and so
he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's our Buster Posey.
it could be. Yeah, Buster was a little younger, but still. I mean, you get
Well, he's out of
Will.
college too, right?
Yeah,
Buster
but
played at Florida State.
he
Florida
did.
State.
Well, and also Buster was a shortstop in college and a
True.
pitcher. But
Talent.
Posey, though, there was the difference is that Buster was a better defensive catcher coming
Right.
right out of it.
Right.
Will, I mean, let's be honest. And I wrote an article after Game 4 of the 2020 World Series, like get him out of that catching position and put Barnes in that
Thank God
position.
for Barnes though.
I
Everyone,
know.
as much flack as Barnes get, he saved us in how many World Series? He saved
Oh
against the
man,
Astros, against the
he
when
had
we
to
were
be
struggling
there.
against the Brewers when Grandal was just like, what
Yeah,
are we doing
yeah.
here?
Grandal
It's
couldn't
always
catch
been
him.
Barnes
Yeah,
against Tampa Bay.
Yep. Yeah, Barnes is such a
It's been
valuable.
Barnes.
He's kind of the man, isn't he? So let's get back
Perfect
to
backup too.
pitching. Back to pitching a little bit. So,
Yeah,
the Dodgers lost Chris Martin, so he's gone. And
right.
my guess, and good for him, man. He got paid.
Yeah, I
What
mean but he was phenomenal. I mean
I
he was a
know.
one point something ERA for the whole half season.
Yeah, but can he? I doubt he replicates that in Boston because Boston doesn't have the prior lab. Um,
Right,
But yeah, but now and I'm guessing Canley's gone too. I mean, he's getting a lot of interest.
right.
How do you feel about the bullpen right now? I mean, do you still think there's a lot of work to do, a little bit of work to do, or no work to do?
Well, when Freeman we trust, so
Yeah.
I think I mean the front office has shown that they can get top end, they can make top end
Yeah.
performance from just waiver wire, from these projects that just happen. I think
hmm
currently the bullpen we're looking at what is Yancey Almonte, Phillips. We
hmm
still have Gratterall,
Yep. Brewster.
Bestia. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's pretty good.
those are all pretty. All of them at least could be a setup in any other team, pretty
Yeah.
much. Am I forgetting? I'm probably forgetting.
Well, their new experiment is
Oh, Miller. Miller,
Bobby
I think is
Miller.
going to take off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's but is he a starting pitcher or is a
No,
reliever?
no, purely as a reliever.
Okay.
He has incentives and they're all reliever based.
I think he's going to dominate.
Yeah.
Hopefully Blake can. I don't know if he's
Oh,
out.
he's
Is he out?
done. Labrum surgery. He's out.
So he's out.
I think he might be done.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, I think though that there's gonna be few waiver wires, maybe a trade.
Yeah.
If there's a trade at the winner, I would see it's for relief.
Mm.
Um, that's usually what they do. Either it's out of if they have too many relievers, or they do trade up, which is thankful. But there are also internal options, like we mentioned,
Hmm.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Victor's coming back, hopefully.
then you have Washington. You have
Hmm.
um,
Even though I think Washington gets plucked in the Rule 5 draft.
maybe, yeah. I mean, there's
He
going to be a lot
should.
of turnover in the Rule 5.
He
There's so
should.
many. Yeah, there's so many. There's just too many. I mean, there's nothing you could do. There's too many prospects.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of credit to the Dodger development team that there's
Hmm.
so many prospects people want. There's only so many spaces, but I think the bullpen. I think there's going to be some changes. I don't feel that with the loss of so many players, um, Freeman would just he wouldn't make some more moves. But
Yeah.
again, when the season started last year, Phillips was not the man.
Mm-mm.
He's like, oh, he's people was like he might be good. Um, Vesia wasn't as established as he did last year. He was phenomenal.
He really was, man.
He
He
was, I
stepped
mean, he
up.
was another under the radar, just lights out. Um, Almonte wasn't there, so I
Yeah.
mean, so I think Miller does move forward. He takes off. I'm probably prefer getting some people at AAA or AA that
Yeah.
probably would be able to pitch, but I feel there's going to be a much. But again, relievers are. I think he doesn't pay because there's projects or it's usually players that have it already but are just
Yeah.
they're not utilized correctly, or it's usually a pitch selection thing where they're using one pitch, they scrap it, or
Right.
they excess some other pitch, and he's an all-star and he gets
Now,
3 years 400 or 40 million, something like that,
yeah, Tyler Anderson right there. I mean,
right?
that's what they
you know
did. Let me throw a name at you, just as
yeah.
a free agent possibility. He's a little bit older now, but Zach Britton, the lefty, former Baltimore. He was
Yeah.
healthy at the
Yeah.
he was getting healthy at the end of the year. And the reason I thought of that is because you were talking about trades, and I still remember when the Dodgers traded for Scott Alexander, who
Good old
drove me
Scott.
nuts. Oh my gosh. And come in and walk a guy and maybe hopefully get a double play. I mean, that
Yeah.
was him. Um, but he was supposed to be the new Zach Britton, but he never, it never,
He never I don't think he ever
he
had the
couldn't
high end.
control it. He couldn't
Yeah.
control. He had no, the control wasn't there. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, if they get a veteran, I would like to see someone like a
Is
Zach
is Zach a
Britton.
free agent?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a lot of teams chasing him, or is kind of quiet?
I haven't seen his name out there.
I could see that. I mean,
Yeah.
you see, if it's
He's
usually going to
cheap.
be like a low risk, high upside
Hmm.
kind of like
Yeah.
they're going to take a flyer on them. I would love to see. I don't know if Paxton's still pitching, convert him to a reliever. I mean,
Oh, yeah. He's out
that would.
there.
I
He
mean,
is
that would be
out there.
probably a nice project to work on. I mean, it's going to be another low risk, high reward. I just don't see
Right.
them dishing out unless it's a proven, just established, like a
Hmm.
Chapman. And that's really the only reliever they've gone. And he was what? At the time, he was
Yeah.
just locked
He was
down
the man. Yeah.
1.7 FIP every year. Those are
Yeah.
kind of the guys they pay money, like big, pretty good money. Freeman has shown because he's a
Hmm.
top end talent, but I don't think
Yeah.
I
But
don't. I think
you're
it's going to
right.
be another
It's that.
these low risk,
Yeah.
high reward. Take a flyer,
Yeah.
invite, or I
I
don't think it's going
mean,
to be a huge investment unless it's just locked in.
Chris Martin was great for us, but there's
Oh,
no
he's
freaking
phenomenal.
way I'm paying $8.5 million for him. You can't do that. Especially,
And plus, he's
30.
38.
Yeah. Yeah. And really it was, he had like a 4.31 ERA with the Cubs.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, so how much of that is the prior lab versus, and getting the right mix? You have to, of course, have someone that's willing to learn and
right.
absorb. And I'm sure Chris Martin did that. And
Yeah,
good for him for earning his money.
100%.
But I just can't see them. That's why I think Canley's gone. He's going to get 8 million probably also. And I can't see them. The
I could
Dodgers won't
I
do it.
could see them going after Candy because I think he has a record of just being. He does have a record. He had an
Yeah.
injury, but he's what, mid two.
I
FIP
love his
for
I,
a
l-
long time.
I love his stuff.
Yeah, and I think that he just pitched so little.
Yeah.
Maybe there he can't. I mean, there's no way. I don't think he gets a top closer contract, but can he get a
Yeah.
middle reliever like maybe a 3 year? I don't know. But again, I don't see the Dodgers. It's not a necessity. It has to be. It just has to make sense.
Yeah. The only time that I remember them giving money to a free agent was when they got Joe Kelly. And
Yeah,
that
but
was
he was
3 years,
phenomenal in the postseason.
24. But it was really, he was phenomenal for a month.
Yeah, but I think they expected what they saw in the postseason to
Yeah.
continue. I don't think they signed him if with so much control issues and
Yeah.
with he was locked down and he had lockdown stuff. So,
Yeah, he did.
but
Yeah.
I think Joe Kelly. I mean, as much as I love him, I don't think that contract really worked out as the Dodgers
No,
had hoped.
well, I would
I
do that
love.
in
I
a
mean,
heart. Yeah, do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat based on the other stuff we
100%.
got out of him. We got of course his
He had some
stuff
great
with,
moments there. Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
the was it nice swing, you know what? And then we got and we also got Mariachi Joe. Remember at
Yeah,
the
I
White
mean,
House?
honestly, I wouldn't
Oh
trade
man,
but I think
was
you
awesome.
know, I don't think he probably didn't perform to his
No.
contract expectations. I don't
Oh,
think.
not even close. But
Fan favorite though,
yeah, and
100%.
so I don't see them, yeah, dishing out
I mean,
any.
maybe. I mean, if he does a 2 year, 10 year deal, that's not
That's probably
horrible.
maximum.
You think so? I
Yeah,
don't know. I think it's free agency. I think
I
teams
know.
are teams are they're crazy. Like, I could see. I
But
don't know.
that's the difference with the Dodgers though. They
Yeah,
don't they don't
they don't
fall
have
for
to.
it.
Right.
They just don't, and they go, why would we want to lock in to a possible mediocre contract
Right.
um, when we can try to get more sure things, or hopefully give our guys a chance, hopefully sign our own guys. Yeah,
There's gonna
they
be at
played
least
those
two.
smart.
There's gonna be at least two and another two pitchers that are undervalued, misutilized that
Hmm.
Dodgers gonna sign, and it's just gonna go by midseason. It's like, why didn't anyone sign this guy?
Yep, I
A
still
la
got
like every year. That's their thing.
Sean Manaea is still my underrated guy.
You gotta
If they were to
pull
sign
the
him,
trigger. You gotta tell Andrew to pull the trigger on that.
if they were to sign him to the Tyler Anderson, Andrew Heaney contract, I think they'd
But
be
what if they
really
make him a
happy.
reliever? Imagine him coming out the pen mid to upper 90s.
I don't think he'd want to do that though. He's too young. Because the money
Might be,
still is a starter.
yeah.
That's still where the
But as a
money's at.
starter, he's what 70 ERA. I mean,
Yeah.
someone
Well,
might take a
but
chance,
Dodgers
but
did most of that though. Let's be honest, the
that's
Dodgers
true. That's a
beat
good
the
point.
snot out of him last year.
Right. If you can't beat him, join him. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Ideally.
position players. I mean, we know catcher's in good shape. First base is in good shape. Now we go
Yeah.
the rest of the
Second,
infield.
short. Yeah.
Yeah, and even third, right? I mean, because
Third's a well,
Muncy.
I was thinking I don't see Andrew Friedman starting the season with, three question marks in the infield. Obviously Freeman's not a question mark, but
Yeah.
Vargas, I think they play him, but he's still a rookie.
Hmm.
He's still, Lux at short is gonna be a question.
Hmm. I agree.
And even Lux at second, I think everyone's okay.
Yeah, me
Then
too.
who's
I
gonna go at
agree.
shortstop?
Yeah, it's the only other guy is Amaya or Taylor, but I don't think that's a good option. I
I
like
think Taylor
Taylor.
would be an option, but I don't know if shortstop's pretty demanding. I don't know how
I know,
I don't know if he may be able to play the full 162, but it's very demanding on your body. So
but he also loses all his value when he's not when he's not.
for the
Hey,
Dodgers, I think, yeah. I
yeah,
think
when
for the
he's
Dodgers he does.
because he gets a game at second, gets a
Yeah.
game in left, gets a game at short, gets a game in center. That's his value. But when
Yeah.
he's an everyday player, things get exposed. Um, his his strikeout ratio was outrageous. Um, and he didn't
Yeah,
hit
I mean,
enough
honestly,
home runs.
it felt like at the end where if he just fouled it off, it was a victory.
Yeah,
But sadly,
I think he was hurt
he's
though. I
probably
think that,
yeah, he had a neck issue, I think, right?
yeah, that was part of the, and he shouldn't even been. We talked about he shouldn't have been in the lineup.
Yeah.
He should not have even been on the playoff roster, in my opinion. He wasn't healthy. So and him and JT were not healthy players. But so let's just say that I'm assuming right now that Muncy's the third baseman.
Okay.
But unless now if they move Lux to short,
Yeah.
do they put Muncy at second? And of course, JT's still out there, and then Vargas is out there. So if
Yeah.
we had Muncy's not he used to just drive me nuts at second. He's actually become competent.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
league average.
yeah,
With that bat, I think it's a plus.
yeah,
I mean, if you can get a second baseman hit like Muncy, I think you do it.
yeah,
I actually do like the idea. Oh, that's it. Just everything depends if they realistically think Lux can play shortstop,
yeah.
or is it just kind of just posture so he doesn't get locked into the free agent. Yeah, I would think
Right.
because if Lux can play shortstop like realistically, that does open the window for
Busch.
Michael Busch to play second, which
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are not considering how good he was as a second baseman, how good his bat would be.
Oh
His
man,
defense is going to be average. If
it's
he can be
average. Yeah.
average, I think we take it. But
Yep.
him at second base, you're going to get what 360 on base, 20 slug,
Mm-hmm.
800
At least.
OPS for a second baseman. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what top three, top five.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well,
It doesn't really happen too much.
yeah. And I talked about this with Trinidad earlier. I don't think we realize, and I think it's very underrated, but the Dodgers have two, I think, possible elite hitters in Busch and Vargas.
100%.
And there's no reason, in my opinion, that by the end of the year they're not batting in the top, in the top five of the order.
Getting at least what 300, 400 at bats a
I think they
season.
have to. They have. I mean, I think it's criminal if they don't, especially
Yes.
Vargas. I think Vargas is ahead of Busch, but not by that much. And Busch,
Yeah, I would say that Bush had more home runs. His
yeah,
on base is, I think, more consistent.
hmm
I do think that Vargas, just from the scouts and everything, they think he's just a generational hitter, which I'm okay
right,
with.
yeah, and I am too.
That's fine.
And
But I
so
think
if
long term, maybe he has more potential. I don't know, like a mini Cabrera, maybe,
yeah, well, I
which I
accidentally
don't.
called.
I'm okay with. You
Yeah,
know?
I accidentally called him that in an interview. So,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
Miguel Cabrera, and he goes, "What?"
because what he's
Yeah,
21,
he's actually 20. He's turning 23.
23. He
He's
just
ready.
completed AAA at 22.
Hmm
Was voted the best player at AAA.
Yep, he's ready.
Didn't miss a beat. I mean, he hit 300, what
Hmm
370, 500.
Yeah, I thought he was
That's
300,
pretty
400,
impressive.
500 ish, but yeah, he's right
22 year
there.
olds are 1 year away from graduating college. So to think that he just came and just became the best player
Yeah.
at AAA, where his competition I think is what 26 plus.
hmm Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah. And I see,
That's kind of
I
similar
see
to
that.
Lux.
Yeah.
Lux coming up and him having his phenomenal season.
hmm Yeah. Because and Lux didn't go to college. I mean, he was what
Right,
21 ish.
right.
Yeah, when he came up.
You got to remember how young these players are.
Yeah. And
And
I
comparable, I mean, the expectation has to be comparable. But I mean, Miguel Vargas, I mean, he did not slow down at AAA.
yeah.
There was
And
no letdown.
if you look at so if Lux and I thought Lux did improve a lot this year. And
Oh, like 100%.
I think bat wise, there's a lot more in the tank for him. So if you
I think
go,
it was his approach, and I think they
oh,
mentioned that Freddie slow things down or just
yeah.
not try to do so much.
But
You
if you look at already, Freeman in the lineup, he's a spray hitter. Puts the ball wherever he goes with the pitch. Vargas and Busch are similar guys. Busch can do that too if they want him to.
Right.
That's the thing with it. But Miguel is just naturally that way. I
Yeah, I think
mean,
Miguel has a natural. I think that Bush's approach is elite. I think
it is.
it's just advanced, and you could
Yeah.
just tell by his walk to strikeout and his to play discipline. It's just he's a player I think that is a Freeman type where high
Yeah.
on base,
Yeah.
high
That's
power, he can
yep.
strike, and he doesn't strike out so much compared to his walk ratio.
Yeah.
He's not gonna give you 30 walks and 150 strikeouts. It's not
Yeah.
him.
He'll strike out less if it just depends on what they want him to do. If they want him to hit
Yeah,
more
if
home
he goes
runs,
for power, I think
yeah.
they're okay with the trade off.
Which they had him do this year, and they had no problem with it.
But he still had a high
With the
walk. I mean, his on base was
yeah,
360 plus, right?
yeah. So if you look at so we have Mookie and Freddie and Smith, and then if you
Those,
go now, let's go Luck steps it up again. Vargas and Busch, all of a sudden you've got a really strong and a kind of a good balanced lineup between lefties, righties, young, got
Yeah,
some age, and then the rest you fill in because you could have six really really good hitters right
100%.
up there.
We're not even
So
talking about Outman. So,
and I need
and
and
the thing
I
about Lux, I think that people have to understand is that he's so young. I mean, he's been in the majors for
mhm,
4 years, but
yeah he,
comparable is Pena from the Astros. They're the
yeah
same age. Lux
yeah
had a better season, but because Lux had what he was up at 21,
yeah
20.
and
It
he
just
got
feels like he's not progressing, but he's so young.
yeah and he got hurt at the end of the
Yeah,
year. He wasn't the same person either.
but he's still so young, and he
Yeah.
had a better season than Pena. I mean,
Hmm.
if you look at the OPS plus, obviously Pena gets a lot of value from being a shortstop and being
Yeah.
pretty good there. I give him that, but bat
Yeah.
wise,
Yeah. I mean,
Lux was up there
Penny gets a little extra bonus, of course, because of his what he did in the postseason.
100%.
But
But
it doesn't, it's kind of like Padre fans expecting Trent Grisham to go and hit 400 during this next season. He's not. He's going to go back to
no,
hitting
no.
200 probably. He
And
just
then
got
Pena win. No, he didn't
hit
win the
hot.
Rookie of the Year, right?
No, I don't.
He
Shoot.
was up top three though, I assume, right?
Yeah, it was J Rod in the American League. I can't
Yeah. Oh,
remember who
that's right. I
won that.
mean, you're not gonna
Who
compete with
won
that.
I don't remember who won the National League. Brain's just
I
fading.
think it's a Brave, right? The pitcher
Oh yeah, you had
or the
no the
outfielder.
other guy, the
Outfielder.
outfielder,
Yeah.
the who was it, Harris the third, and it could have
Yeah.
been Strider too. Gosh, see
I mean,
The
yeah, that
Braves are
either
doing it right. They've got so many guys that are homegrown.
because they got a Dodger front office guy.
I know. Well, he
They do.
learned. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he learned from Friedman. I mean, he was good before in Toronto,
Yeah.
but then when he went to the Dodgers, he learned a lot more. And so, yeah, if you look kind of at a lot of the good front offices, most of them have an association with Andrew Friedman.
Yeah.
They worked with him in Tampa.
The more traditional Dodger fans, they are all analytic. You know,
Hmm.
you hate the analytics in the playoff, but that's what got you there. That's what keeps you there.
Yeah, and some of it, it's not just analytics, but
Yeah.
some of
It's
these
a
things
blend. It's
they're
whoever
just
has the best blend, but you can't
yeah,
just complete discount, you know,
and sometimes it does come down to a certain manager making certain decisions.
100%.
You know,
It's always in baseball, right? You
yeah,
play your chances and,
yeah.
sometimes
Sometimes
it works, sometimes
was
it
it?
doesn't.
Yeah, Jeff Snyder says from Locked On Dodgers and Dodgers Nation says that he says all these calls are 60%, 40% in that range. None of them are clearly bad, clearly good.
Right.
And he's just, and I'm not gonna, I'll grudgingly admit he's probably right in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um, there are times where we go, good, what'd you do, Doc? Um, but it's like they're still defensible.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, but yeah,
Right.
they just have to uh yeah. Doc.
But that's baseball, everything,
Uh-huh.
60% win percentage is
Yeah,
140%, win percentage you lose 100 games. So
I
it's
know.
not like, it's not going to be so black and white. It's just it's the margins really for
Yeah.
everything.
It still does come down to the plays after execute. Um,
100%.
if now there are times when you see, and it's not people they think Doc is the worst manager. It's not. It's not even close. He's not the worst manager. If you go watch any game, if you to watch a team normally, the manager's going to piss off the fans.
Yeah.
I mean, I even saw in the Phillies versus Padres, Bob Melvin pissed off a bunch of fans with some of the moves that he made.
Right.
And they're like, he was probably one of the most valuable, other than Manny Machado, he's probably the most valuable Padre that year.
Right. But you can
So,
make moves. You can make the best move, and if the player doesn't perform, it's the
yeah,
manager gets to blame. But at the end of the day, like the players did not execute.
yeah. So I mean,
I think we've
yeah.
talked about this plenty.
Well, but hey, just remember the Dodgers did lose Brant Brown, one of their hitting coaches.
Yeah. So the Marlins, right?
Yeah, I'm actually hoping that I want a guy in that dugout that has major league success. I mean, I get it with Von Scoyak, I get it with
Yeah.
the other hitting guys, but I still believe there is a factor for a guy to go, this guy, I'm going to listen to him because
Right.
it's not everybody. Most of the guys are fine with it. But I think Mark, like Mark Pryor, he brings a little extra because that dude,
He
for a
was the
brief
guy.
while,
He was the man.
he had Hall of Fame potential. And he had
Oh,
Hall of Fame
100%.
stuff
He
until
was
he
on
got
a,
hurt.
yeah. If it wasn't for injuries, he was on that track already.
Yeah. I mean, he was amazing. But
I
yeah,
do agree
so
with that.
yeah,
I think it's also how the veterans approach or embrace also on the team. The
yeah,
one thing I've heard a lot of criticisms about, obviously the hitting coaches for the Dodgers,
yeah.
but I did see a excerpt from Mookie Betts saying that the Dodgers have world class hitting coaches, world
Hmm.
class. So if someone like Mookie Betts,
Yeah.
you know, can just casually say that, I assume he believes it, and
Hmm.
he's been around other good organizations, and
Yeah, he didn't have
it
to
may
say
not
that.
end up working all the time, but I don't
Yeah.
feel Andrew Friedman.
Yeah.
He's
The
gonna
thing
be
is,
an elite at everything and just
yeah. No,
hire just some just random hitting
so,
coach.
so just this is a real quick example, but I was a coach on a Little League All-Star team 2014. We
Uh,
had a loaded team,
yeah,
and the other team threw a curveballer at us. And all he did, everything was curveball. And we were telling the guys, you got to change your approach. You got to let it get deep. You got to quit swinging for the fences. We
yeah,
lost 3-2 because our guys kept swinging for the fences, striking out, swinging on these big misses. And so a coach can be blue in the face and tell them, hey, do your approach. I mean, let's be honest, Cody. Let's talk about Cody just for a minute.
yeah. I was just actually going just thinking about that.
You
That
know, you can tell him everything you want, but he still goes up there and looks. I mean, he looks foolish at the plate because I mean, doesn't he have his legs moving? I mean, it's just some of those
yeah,
terrible swings.
he was just out of rhythm, he was
Yeah,
just out of whack. I mean,
yeah. So you can tell him
his
everything, but it's not going to matter.
sometimes telling someone too much, but I don't think
Yeah,
Cody. I just if you I don't I just Cody I don't think was he just wasn't there.
not the sharpest tack either. Let's be honest.
Right?
Let's be honest. But
Awesome.
he'll be missed. I don't know where he's going to go, but I don't think it's going
Yeah.
to be the Dodgers. Um,
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know
yeah,
if the
I doubt it.
Dodgers.
I think he's going to get. I think he's going to get more than the
Well,
18
I think
million.
that Boris wants a 1 year deal because they
Uh
want to
huh.
reestablish
Yeah.
his value and I. But at the same time, if he might get more of a leash if he signs somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because in the Dodgers, if he's not bright in like a month, I don't think they keep sending him out there. Like they're kind of, I think they've tried.
Yeah.
3 years is kind of you got to show me a little different.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I did too. I mean, yeah. It's a bummer that it didn't work out, but we always got Cody in our hearts, man. A dude,
Oh, we love
dude,
him. We just,
yeah,
we everyone's
dude got us to
rooting
the
for him,
World
but
Series in
yeah,
2020. Legendary home run. Um, yeah, and then he hit a home
legend.
run in Game
Yeah,
One too of the World Series. So
his
yeah,
first 3 years were, probably one of the better first 3 years like in
yeah,
history. I mean, he was like phenomenal,
he was amazing. Yeah. Now we have James Outman. It looks like in center field at the moment.
and I'm okay with that.
We also have Trace Thompson, Chris Taylor.
Right.
Um,
Which brings
I
me up to
mean,
the other point is trade rumors. Reynolds is
I saw that.
available.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's something you have to look at.
You know what? I would think the same thing, but I think the Dodgers passed just because grading out Reynolds. He was center fielder. I know
Yeah,
last year he was better. This year he was
he's a
average.
he's a left fielder.
So and that's the thing. I think the
Yeah,
Dodgers want to leave left field open to be able to give at bats to say Vargas,
yeah,
Busch.
yeah.
I think left field is a place where if you need at bats but not you don't have a position,
It's
that's
a
where we
good
can kind of
point.
hide you.
That's a good
I think
point.
that's why they leave left field
Yeah.
unless so then again that leaves the same problem of center field but with left field locked in. So I don't feel the Dodgers pursue Reynolds unless there's some statistical anomaly where
Yeah.
he got great at
They'd
center field.
know.
He just
They'd
was
know. I mean, the Dodgers
yeah, they would
figured
know.
that out.
We'll find out, but
So if they go get him as a center fielder, we'll just go, okay, oh, okay, that sounds good to me.
well that's
Because
why. Yeah, exactly.
you know, they know what they're doing. Uh,
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so if we go with Outman in center or
This
Thompson
is
or
ideal.
Taylor, a little
Almond in
bit of that.
center.
I'd love to have Outman out there. I don't want to see the Dodgers platooning guys, these young guys. I think it's terrible
I think you
when
need
they do that.
somebody else though. I think maybe Trace Thompson and Chris Taylor's enough because
It is,
there's going to
yeah,
be
it should
times
be.
where I mean, contrary to Dodger Nation, there's going to be times where Outman is not hitting 500 or he's going to
No,
struggle. And they're going to want to trade him or whatever. But and you need someone just going to fill in for maybe get a restart. But I think Dodgers have they have Thompson, they have Taylor, they have people that can fill in now that it's not they don't play a bad center field. They're pretty good.
yeah, yeah. No,
So I think
Thompson's really is pretty darn good out there, and I love watching that. He glides.
yeah.
It's really cool to watch him
No,
go.
the thing is always has been he's athletic. It's just can the bat stay? Does he have a can he make
Yeah,
enough contact
yeah, and
to tap in his power?
2022 could have been a fluke. I don't know. We'll find out.
Right.
And he's gonna max out probably with arbitration at like 1.5 million.
Which is not a
Okay.
bad investment to get
Yeah.
a. I mean, he had like 200 at bats. He was like 2 WAR.
Yeah. Yeah. He
I
had a
mean,
nice
it's a low
season.
risk, pretty
So
high return, right?
yeah, he can play any of the outfield positions and he plays them well.
Well, yeah, if you're
Um,
playing center field, you can play
and he's a
good
guy that
arm,
he could run for somebody if he needed to do that too
right?
for
He's
off the
athletic.
bench. So
He
I
has
look at
power.
yeah, I do see him as a good guy to have on the bench. I don't put it this way, he either really needs to shine as a starter, or if he is a starter, I'm a little concerned. If he's not, if he's just getting at bats because they don't trust Outman or they don't want to play Vargas as much.
I don't know. I think Outman I mean, he was what the best hitter in the minors in the Double A. Like his season was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
I think in Double A he was considered the best hitter
well
that type of promotion.
when he came back from LA,
Yeah,
he was on so he didn't just mope. That dude went out and hit cycles and
right.
home run delight. I mean,
Two
just
cycles,
galore.
right?
He was
Yeah,
killing it. Yeah, he was just killing it.
yeah.
So and by congratulations to James Outman. He's getting married, I guess, next week. I saw
Good for
that
him.
on Instagram. Ladies, he cut his hair.
But did he really?
He did. He cut those locks.
Hopefully he
So
keeps the same power.
yeah. No Samson
Samson
things
over there.
here, man. Yeah, I have a bias towards Outman. I admit it. The guy's been very, very good to me. Um,
100%.
great guy.
He deserves it though. I mean,
He
I mean,
does.
and
That
his
dude.
defense, I think what people sleep on is he's a
Oh,
plus defender
absolutely.
at center field.
Yeah. And
Means he can play anywhere. He can play anywhere.
what
Plus
people
arm.
just what they don't understand about him also, and it's just he's a great story. I mean, he was drafted in the seventh round. He was not in the Baseball America top 1 million or whatever.
Outman?
Yeah, he
Oh
was
no, he was a
not.
project.
He
He's
was
out
a
of what?
total pro. So he wasn't even ranked to be in the top 10
Oh,
rounds.
no.
But the Dodgers. So here's a little insider information that I got. So a good friend of mine that I shared Dodger season tickets holders with.
Yeah,
He's friends with Outman's uncle, and so before
you're an
Outman was a
insider.
Dodger, before Outman was a Dodger, I get
Yeah.
this text from my friend, and it's Dodger Stadium, and I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Yeah, there's this guy James Outman. He's a friend of my, he's a nephew of my friend."
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay, whatever." And then
Cool.
what is it? A few days later, he's drafted in the seventh round,
Yeah.
which is, and again, I went and looked at Baseball America, and he was
And he wasn't a high upside seventh
he was
rounder. It wasn't. They
it
were. I
was
mean,
it was all athletic ability.
I probably
Um,
thought he was filler, or he
yeah.
wasn't. Didn't come with like
Well,
what he has become.
for them to pick him in the seventh, though, they saw something.
Right.
But before he took one at bat with Ogden, Dustin Kelly, who was the hitting coach at the time, um, they changed everything with him.
Yeah, they completely
Yeah.
restructured his swing.
And I remember talking to Dustin Kelly the next year because he was a coach at Rancho, and he's actually with the Cubs now, I think at the major league level.
Uh-huh.
But Dustin was like, I brought up Outman. He goes, "Oh man, that kid is amazing. Just the work ethic. Just could had just he did, unprompted. He had amazing things to say about him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to James Outman. He's a high character guy. he's
100%.
obvious. He's one of the he's a great athlete, which is one of the things about Cody that I really like is his athletic ability.
Big guy too. He's got
Yeah, yeah,
good frame.
yeah. And I tell you, I got so many pictures of Outman in spring training signing autographs for the kids.
Right.
Him and Pepiot were two of the best signers after major league games and stuff. They were
Right.
always over there. So I always, I know you probably have caught it, but I always take pictures of those guys signing autographs, and I put that stuff on Instagram. I want to encourage them to keep doing that
Right.
because it's a thing. And some of these kids, you do that right,
They remember.
you got a fan for life.
Yeah, they remember.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
It's a good look.
So I'm hoping Outman gets a full shot.
I think he does. I think there's.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. Contrary, I mean, I understand the decision not to, throw him in as a center fielder during a playoff run and just like here, sink or swim. That's not really the Dodger style. They give, especially if they believe in you, they give you a runway, a long run, so that you know it's not like do or die, and then you flame out in a year and a half, or if you don't,
But
take off.
look what both the Astros and the Braves do though. They do go for it. They bring these guys up from Double A sometimes, and
They do,
they
but even
go for
Pena was he
I
was
know.
he was on the sitting block for
Yeah.
for a while. So I mean Tucker obviously, but I think Tucker wasn't an
Hmm.
exceptional talent.
Yeah. And but you
But I
look
think
at
the Dodgers with exceptional talents, they make room for you if you're that good.
yeah.
Bellinger, Seager. I mean, there's
Yeah.
examples. It's just
As long as they, because I just think Doc has been getting into this habit of playing his guys.
right.
Got to play Justin no matter what. No, you don't. Got to play Taylor no matter. No, you don't. They're
Right.
not healthy. Don't play people that aren't healthy. Why
Or
play a guy?
they're not good doing good right now.
Yeah,
They're not like
if they're at 80%, give me Miguel Vargas at 100%.
yeah.
Easy.
I mean, yeah, I think moving forward, getting Miguel Vargas enough at bats is,
Hmm.
it's going to be more productive. Maybe not this season, but a year and a half when he clicks or it was more mature. 100%.
Yeah, I hope they do it this year. I don't think you hold Vargas back, and I hope they don't hold Busch back either. But I got a feeling they will. They'll find a way to
I
not
think
do that.
I think they trade Bush because I mean another year just in AAA. If they're not going to use
Yeah.
him,
No.
his value goes down. There's no
Yeah.
real.
Play him or trade him. That's where they're at. They have to. Some of these guys,
That's why
they're
if
going to lose
Lux
value.
can really play shortstop, that opens up.
Oh man,
That would open things
huge.
up.
It is
And,
huge.
you
No,
know what? I think
good
maybe
point.
they do leave left field open,
Hmm.
to revolve because you do have Paez. He's in AAA.
No, he was in Double A last year though, but
Yeah, he's going to
he
start the
will
year in
be in
AAA
Triple
this
A.
year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if he's ready, what mid-season?
He's got to cut down those Ks, man. The
But the
contact,
pop's there.
pops. Oh, and the arm too.
The arm's there.
Yeah. No,
He
there's a
was
lot of talent.
phenomenal. He's shown in the AFL against other top prospects.
Hmm. There's a lot
You
there.
know,
It'd be nice
he
to
could
see him take
he
that
might be
next
one of the
step.
guys that takes off in
Yeah,
AAA is going to be a lot easier to hit than Double A. I
yeah,
mean, so you could see his numbers kind of he might
yeah,
pop a little.
yeah. That's what Casey Porter was telling me today. That
Yeah,
it is a big difference playing at OKC versus Tulsa.
100%.
The pitching's pretty similar, but it's just the
I would
ballpark.
probably better, but the ballparks and
The
the
ballpark. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, but a lot of AAA, you still have you got those guys that are like the quad A guys
yeah,
that are kind of always in between, and they get that one or
they're
two
good enough
starts,
to
then they get released, and then they go to another
yeah,
organization, do the same thing.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
Paez is what a top 50 minor leaguer.
he's getting up there. I'm not quite
Isn't
sure
he mid? He's
he's
like
that.
it was
He's close.
56, 50.
He's getting there.
He's not a quad yet. he's
Yeah, his talent.
definitely a prospect.
Yeah, it's talent and putting it together, and he's young too.
Still,
He's
100%.
yeah, he's still younger than
Pretty raw, but his approach is pretty
yeah,
good.
he's younger than Miggy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Hmm.
And he's at AAA, so he's gonna
Yeah.
follow in the same footsteps.
And that power is yeah, that'll be interesting I'm
Yeah.
excited about I'm
His
excited to see that guy play.
but his on
Um
base is pretty good. I mean, at single A obviously is better, but even
yeah.
AAA, he does strike out a lot, but
Yeah.
he does bring on base and obviously power. So
Well, I during spring, and I don't know, I can't remember if I told you this, but during spring training, watching this one game, this one, Dodger minor leaguers playing against the White Sox minor
Uh-huh.
leaguers, and they had a batting order, man. They had it was like Busch, Vargas, Paez, right in a row. It was like, oh,
Good
that's
luck.
what yeah, I mean, it's like, man, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I'm going, that's the future right there.
I mean, to be honest, if Paez was maybe in some other organization, he may be the number one, number two prospect.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He's yeah, he's like a 50th in the top 100. So I mean, he's not
getting
like
a,
he's another guy that's like Bush kind of slept on. I mean,
mm-hmm,
Bush I think is more obviously more advanced, but
yeah,
in the
he
Dodger
is,
system, like you have these players that are just really good that are just like ho hum. Oh, he's just
yeah,
number 7, he's number 8, and like anyone
yeah.
else, he's getting all the press.
Yeah, no, it's true though. But I mean,
That
yeah,
just
I
it's
mean, the
just
future is
the amount of
bright, but
talent is crazy.
yeah, I think I was talking to Trinidad also earlier, but with there's a guy, Ralph Mason, I believe is his name, and there was put a tweet out there about he wanted to see Outman, Bush, and
Uh,
all these guys play, and I'm like, and I replied back with the Mandalorian, this is the way, but then I also
right?
replied, but then I did reply back, play him or trade him.
Yeah.
I mean, so Michael Bush, who it would kill me if they traded him. But if they did trade him now versus him having a year where, in all honesty, his value might only go down.
Well, I don't think there's. I mean, he has nothing left to prove in AAA.
Yeah. I mean, look at
I
Gavin
mean,
Lux.
he
Gavin Lux after 2019 was minor, one of the top two
right,
prospects, him and Wander Franco.
right.
He was right there. Trade
I
value
mean,
was sky high. They could have gotten Francisco Lindor if they would have included him.
thank God we didn't.
But now Lux does not have that value right now,
Right.
no
But I
matter
think
what.
the difference between Lux is I think they could have waited a little bit. Lux was 20. I mean, he was like 19, 18. Busch
Yeah,
is what, 24, 25.
yeah.
You can't wait
But
that
it,
much longer
but his
for
value is
Busch.
down though compared to where it was.
Busch or Lux.
Lux.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think this
And
past season kind of reestablished him. But when he was,
to a point.
number two prospect, I mean, you could have got anyone you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
It
So
was
I
like,
look at
yeah,
Bush as if his value will only go down. So you have
yeah,
to make decisions on guys
100%.
like him
Right. Because you
to
don't. I mean,
go.
there's
You
no
got to
point in
play him.
holding him.
Yeah,
If you hold him, like he's just gonna lose value. And I mean, I
yeah.
think Friedman. And this is the thing during the winter meetings. He's mentioned that if he prefers the cost of resources or prospects
Hmm.
during the winter meetings as opposed to like the trade deadline is much lower.
Oh
So if
yeah,
there's gonna be a move that he's gonna make, it's gonna be maybe in the next few weeks. This coming week,
yeah,
just
yeah.
you
Because
get more bang for your buck.
yeah, I mean, if we look back, I mean, 2021 they made the Scherzer Turner trade,
Right.
great trade, and I think Washington benefited from it also.
Yeah.
But then 2020 they didn't make a big trade. All they did they traded Strip. 2019, I think they didn't make any trades for that either. Now 2018 was Machado,
Right. Right.
2017 was Darvish, so that and 2016 was Rich Hill. So they're willing to do that, but you're
Right.
right.
But that's not their. They don't. That's not their.
Yeah.
It's not what they would rather do.
Yeah, well, and like you said, the prospect capital has gone up a lot.
100%.
And
And he
so
mentioned
that
it this past time that it's not ideal to get to patch your roster or just make a roster moves. I mean,
yeah,
obviously maybe in the margins, but for a
what
playoff push, but
I mean
roster
that's to
construction.
be honest, I mean Washington when they traded Juan Soto, I mean they cleaned out the Padres, pretty well. They in terms of they did really well. Now, I honestly believe that the Dodgers had better prospects to offer, and it's not because the Padres prospects weren't good. It's just the Padres coaching's not as good. Their player
Right.
development is not as good, and so
100%.
now these Padre guys that, and some of the guys had frozen, like Mackenzie Gore and all that. Some of them, and he'd been hurt too.
Yeah, I was told he was
They,
better than Urias.
yeah, so they a lot of those guys had stalled. Now they go to Washington that also has a crappy player development.
Yeah.
And now what are you going to do? I mean, because the Padres, what they do, of course, they build these prospects up based on their talent, which they
Single
have
A,
talent, a
double A,
lot of
maybe.
talent, but then they trade them off because they can't develop them any further. They
Player
trade them off.
development is one of the more expensive things, in for some of these, franchises. Just you can't have it
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah, and so that with the development, they would actually, trade the guys. Then they go to other teams, and then they'd eventually develop. Like a
Yeah,
Ty France took a couple years. Josh
right.
Naylor took a couple. Quantrill was it? It's Cal, right? Cal
Yeah,
Quantrill.
yeah,
Yeah, because his
100%.
dad was Paul Quantrill. So these guys developed, but it's not the Padres that did the development. They actually kind of stalled under the
They just had the
Padres.
talent,
Yeah, and then
pure
now they go
talent.
to because to be honest, man, if I had to take a player from any organization, I want pitching from Cleveland. Just like the Rays,
Right,
they develop amazing. They
right.
have it down. I
But I
want.
think that's also their system, right? It's more
Yeah,
their
it is.
system than because
Yeah,
they
they develop.
consistently have these top starting pitcher, just pitching
Yeah,
in general is just pretty phenomenal.
yeah, out of nowhere, all of a
Their
sudden,
hitting
oh
is kind of just lackluster, but their pitching
yeah,
is
yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably because they're limited on funds. I'm
exactly,
guessing.
exactly.
Um, yeah. So I mean, these guys develop different things. The Dodgers, of course, have good player development, but it doesn't work for everybody.
No,
But it works for a lot of guys, and we
right.
see that. And so, but I do want to see the fruits of that now, because we've kind of had that little gap where,
Yeah,
well, we got the World Series, which is good, but it was with a heavy Dodger loaded team. Dodger developed. Now
yeah.
let's do it again, because you got Betts, cool. You got Freeman, cool. I mean, with Betts, you cashed in some chips. Alex Verdugo is a nice player. Jeter Downs a nice player.
Well,
Even
yeah.
Sean
Verdugo's
O'Donnell.
already kind of stalling out.
Yeah, well, he's still. I'd
Pretty
like.
young, but
I'd like.
he's already getting kind of some flack in Boston.
Yeah, I'd like Doogie back. I think Boston's a
It's just a
place.
tough place to play.
It is,
It's like put up or shut up in Boston. It's just
yeah, and he. I don't think he fits in there. They don't. They don't. This is the town that thinks that worships Larry Bird and the Boston
yeah.
Celtics, and they piss me off.
I think Verdugo, yeah, Verdugo as a right fielder has kind of always been kind of a. He's not your prototypical because he doesn't have that power.
Right.
So he has to go maybe somewhere where they're not so, I guess, expecting like a Hunter Renfro or 30
Yeah,
bombs,
because you have to have someone else at the other positions make up for it.
100%.
So
He's not your prototypical. So.
yeah, but I still think he might have been a game changer in 2019 in that playoffs. Remember, he was out.
And he was doing good. I mean, he was a
He was.
300.
Yeah,
He was doing good.
a lot of contact. Just
Yeah,
I actually had wanted him to bat leadoff. This is of course before we had
yeah.
Mookie. Um,
His contact, his bat to ball skills has always been top.
yeah, he has a gift, but
Yeah.
that'd be interesting to get Doogie back. I'd love to get him somehow. I don't know. Um, he was always a player that I liked. Let's see. So we've talked about left field, as a holding ground at the minimum. So for me, rolling into the season, I would anoint um, Miguel Vargas as a starter and probably in left. I don't think it's going to be third yet.
Right.
But I think Miggy needs some real at bats, and I think if they do, they're going to be really happy with it.
I think it's the bats that they're worried about, not so much I'm not sure. I think he's a what average, maybe a fringe average third baseman
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point. But I
yeah,
think the bat is what they want. So
yeah.
I
And
don't think they care how they get him in there.
I think he'll be a decent outfielder.
Yeah.
I
And left field is where you hide him.
it's just work, and really
Right.
it's just time because I mean he's probably like I said probably played about 25 games total in his life in left field,
Right.
and people it's kind of like people judging Gavin Lux when he was thrust into starting in center field last year in
Yeah, right.
2021. It's like, hey, wait a minute, this guy played like two minor league games in the outfield.
And he
Give him
dropped
a
the ball. It's
break.
like
This
exactly.
and
At the major league level learning, that's a little
people
bit.
forget how freaking hard this is. This
Yeah.
game is so hard, and because a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people have not played this game at anything above a little league
not at that
level.
level, yeah.
Yeah, you played college, I played high school. And college between college and high school, it's night and
It's a
day.
big jump. It's a big jump.
And yeah,
In between college and then professional, it's even bigger.
yeah, and even
Obviously, right?
between high school and little league and all that, it's a huge
Yeah.
difference. So
And learning on the spot is pretty.
yeah, this isn't MLB the Show. It's a real game. It's a
Yeah,
really
right.
hard
It's a little
game.
different.
Give these guys a break. You can't sit there and judge and say Miguel Vargas is a terrible outfielder when he's hardly played there. I mean, you can say
And
it,
he's
but
probably not going to be. I mean,
no Golden Glove. But what?
if he can give you average, I mean, I think everyone
Yeah,
would be happy.
catch the ball, throw the ball.
And thankfully, left field is probably the least demanding spot.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. Yeah, I mean between DH and left field, he could probably get plenty of
yeah,
at
TH is
bats.
another one. Yeah, right.
Well, if you do have Lux at short, right?
Yeah,
You can do Busch at second or DH,
that's what.
Vargas in
Yeah,
left field or DH,
if
and
Lux
then
had really played shortstop, then Muncy at third,
hmm
Lux at short, and Bush at second. I mean, that's pretty
hmm
nice.
and then sometimes you put Taylor because you got to get
That exactly, and then you can
yeah
spell out. He can spell off
yeah,
at
and Busch
shortstop,
could go to
third, and
DH.
second base,
Or
and he'll
did
get
you
enough at bats as well to justify his contract.
speaking of DH? Did you see the rumor about JD Martinez?
No, I haven't.
The Dodgers are in on him, which is kind of weird to me.
Are they
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much that contract would be since they didn't even, offer JT the 16 million.
the qualifying offer?
Yeah, or whatever.
That works
His
for the
player
Dodgers, right?
options, his player option. So
Oh
I
gosh,
mean, it's like if they sign JD Martinez, there's no way you can sign Justin Turner. I mean, those are two olds that
yeah.
can't play. The
I
defense
think
is
it's getting to. I mean, you haven't really heard much news about Justin Turner, so I
yeah,
mean, I would think if they wanted to lock him up, it would be pretty soon because now he's going to get other teams that are just kind of just. And I think someone offers him a starting gig. He did pretty good between like what May.
yeah. He had a good 3 months.
He was a 310. He was the old
Yeah,
Justin Turner.
I guess what June, July, August, right?
I think,
That's
and
pretty
then what
much
he
it.
ended up with what was it 3 WAR? I mean, or two and a
Yeah,
half. Something.
he had a nice season.
That wasn't. Someone's going to offer him a starting gig.
Yeah.
You know,
I think with Justin,
and it's probably going to be his last a chance to be a star. I don't know if he's going to be a starter with the Dodgers, to be honest.
I know. To be
As
honest,
much as we love him, I mean, I think
yeah,
ideally what's best for the team is that he not be a starter, right?
yeah. And the only reason I don't want him, I just am afraid Doc's going to play him all the time, and that's not what they need to do. They have to develop new players.
You got to
But if
get those at bats have to go to Vargas,
yeah, but if
which makes me
JT,
think maybe they do. Maybe they feel that Vargas can't play third base. That's why they didn't re-up Rios.
oh yeah, I forgot about Eddie.
Yeah, because I mean,
No one's picked him up yet. That's interesting because I
I think
like well
it's still pretty soon. He's probably getting some offers, and obviously it wasn't.
yeah
I mean, he has some questions as well, health wise. Obviously, the bat was not
yeah, and he just
power. I
it's
think someone's gonna get him, but
and remember
he's probably filling out the.
they didn't even bother calling him up at the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah, I mean he was in AAA healthy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They actually he came off the injured list for them, and they actually just optioned him and kept him in AAA and brought Miggy up. So
Right.
they didn't. I mean, and remember Vargas, I mean, not Vargas. Rios was very valuable in the playoffs in 2020.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think
He
that's
hit
when
a
he was
couple home
healthy.
runs and
Big ones.
took over for JT when he tested positive for the bug.
Right. Exactly right. And obviously his power is just, you know, we like. I mean, everyone likes Rios, but I just thought,
Mhm. There's no
does he
defensive
fit moving
position
forward?
there. He's a pure DH, and it seems like the Dodgers don't want that. But then you hear them talking about JD Martinez, who is the perfect example of a DH. He
He's
should
probably
never be in the
the
field
most
again.
anti-Dodger, no defensive
Yeah,
flexibility.
yeah.
So
But remember, they were in on him allegedly during the trade deadline. They were. I remember that.
yeah, no, I remember hearing that.
Hmm
How true? How much? I
But
mean,
Boston was, to me, in my opinion, they were just stupid.
it's foolish.
Not trading JD Martinez when your team's terrible.
Right, you're out of the
And
season.
yeah, and
There's
you're
no
not going to
guarantee.
want,
You're not going to get anything back from him at the end of the
yeah,
season. You're going to walk.
yeah, or you could just re-sign him the next year if you really want him back. But it just
Right.
seems like they really played that badly.
Yeah, some of these moves, I mean, like where it's like why hold on to the player like you're gonna get nothing from it. It's just
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I've seen
There
you just
must be a
watch.
method to the madness, or maybe it's just
Yeah,
bad.
you watch certain teams go through that, and I'm like, what? Like the Cubs
Or
holding
there was a,
on.
there was a
Cubs,
lot of moves where it was like, why did you trade this guy? Like,
yeah, Wilson Contreras.
yeah, like what?
What?
You're like 100 loss season. He's
Yeah,
gonna walk.
I mean, he was already like crying in the dugout like the last game before the
Yeah,
trade
imagine that.
deadline.
That's how
He
bad is that? He was
he thought
crying
he
and then
was
showed up the next
gone,
day.
and he's still there. It's just absurd.
It just doesn't
Uh,
make sense.
yeah, I mean, in my
Maybe you get
opinion,
like a B level prospect. At least you had a B level
yeah,
prospect, right?
because you never know who that may be.
But there's no point in not, right?
Yeah, yeah,
What
because
like, what do you have to
it's
gain
a
by
wild
letting this
card.
guy
Or
walk?
you go, hey, give me that 17-year-old that you just signed out of the Dominican,
Ugh, gosh,
you
is his
know,
name Alvarez
for
for the
JD
Astros?
Martinez. Yeah, that was
She's, I mean, I still think I don't know if does Friedman trade him if the NL had the DH at that time. I don't know,
my. So there's a couple theories.
and that's the only thing I could justify.
It was just a mistake because they thought we were asking for Yachty or Valdez, and they were or Alvarez, and they were asking for him instead. But the other thing I
I don't think
heard
that. No, I think
that
that that's not.
that it was planned. The Astros were over their international money.
Uh-huh.
So the Dodgers
Oh,
signed Alvarez, and it was pretty much prearranged
pre-agreed.
that they'd make a trade. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
You never know. Yeah.
Whatever is like,
Either way,
dang,
it's not really look. Yeah, it's one of the worst ones.
yeah,
It's gonna be an
Uh,
epic one where like it's years down the line. Like well,
yeah.
but he was a what single A, and I mean he wasn't even single A. It was a rookie
He hadn't
ball.
even played. He didn't even
Yeah.
play in a game yet, so it was kind of weird.
At
But
the time, it's probably. I mean, moving forward, those are the trades you want to make. If you get an MLB player for a lottery, because I mean,
yeah,
how many
well,
lottery players have turn out to be anything really?
it was
It's
Josh
just this one
Field.
did. This one was the absolute worst case scenario.
I just, to be honest, I wish they never had Josh Fields on that team. They kept
Oh,
going
in
to
hindsight,
him.
100%. He wasn't.
No,
He
but
actually
they
was
kept.
pretty good.
He had some moments, but they kept going to him when they shouldn't
Yeah.
have. He wasn't. I still. I mean, game two when they brought him into the World Series, I knew he was going to get lit. The Astros feasted off right-handed fastball guys that year, and what
Yeah.
did Josh Fields comes in? Boom, boom, two home runs.
Yeah.
Like what in extras in that game too? I mean, it's
Well, we
like
don't know what happened in the World Series either. We don't know what.
I know it is still a
We,
Dodger Stadium, and it's Josh
that's
Fields,
true.
and he's throwing fastballs,
Yeah, and
and
plus that's his old team, so they know him.
yeah.
They know his
So
tendencies, what he can and can't
it was
do.
it
I
was
always think
like
that's kind of always kind of a, you're rolling the dice when you a former team like,
yeah
you know,
crazy stuff. Well, that whole game too was mismanaged, everything was. That was the
yeah,
game where Puig missed the ball because he was out of position because he wasn't listening to the coaches. Just, I
good
mean,
stuff.
I mean, Chase Utley was starting at second base for no reason when Logan Forsythe was actually doing really well, and there was a ball that Reddick hit that got to Utley's left, and he couldn't handle it, and I think Forsythe would have gotten it, but Reddick
Looking
scored a
back,
run.
I think the Dodgers roster is so much better. I mean, looking back, I mean, you see like Logan Forsythe, you see like these kind of question marks, and now it's kind of we just did we're a better team. We just didn't play. We just didn't
Yeah,
show up. I mean, we just didn't play well. It was so bad. It's so
yeah.
disappointing.
It seems that even though they won 111 games, it seems in some ways
They were. They looked scared.
but it looks like a transition season a little bit. I mean,
Heck of a transition season, right?
I know. Yeah, I mean, who would kill for that? Like the
Yeah.
Angels, how would they? Just getting to the playoffs. Some team, the Mariners getting to the
Cheers. I
playoffs
mean,
was,
that was the Dodgers throughout the 2000s. Just getting
yeah,
to the playoffs was like.
yeah, yeah. Who
And now
says
if
they're
we
going to
don't win
win a game?
105, it's like, oh God, what are we doing?
Yeah, and then when Lima won one game, it was a
And
big,
we were happy, and people were happy. It's like the first Dodger win, and da 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 da. It's
yeah,
like,
and it's kind of like the Padres, right? For them, their
yeah,
season was
you don't want to
made
admit
by
it, but
there was for them it was their season made. Anything was icing on the cake.
100%.
And so
500 over 500 was a success.
yeah.
To
Now
be
the
honest,
you see those rumors about the Padres in on Trey Turner?
I think they. I mean, I've
Preller,
seen that.
they drafted him.
But where does that leave Tatis then?
Tatis
Or
isn't
do
going to play shortstop no matter what. He's an outfielder now.
you think so moving forward?
Yeah, Kim's their second. Kim is their shortstop.
I think Tatis.
Kim's
I think
legit.
obviously, I think Kim was there because of. I know they tried that, but I think obviously Kim was there because of the PD.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't think he was the shortstop.
but he earned it though. Now, I mean, the dude was even batting
Yeah,
leadoff in
but
the
if
playoffs, and
you
but his glove. Remember, Tatis has a terrible glove because he's always thinking about making the spectacular.
but net, I mean Tatis is what a eight war. Well, we'll see how post PEDs, but
Yeah, but you
he's an
put
8 war player. I mean,
they're gonna, from my understanding, they're gonna put him in right. They're gonna
so
move
where do you
Soto.
put Kim if you get shortstop?
Well,
Bench?
then they might. So what they
I mean
might
Trey.
do
If you get Trey, I'm sorry.
if they get Trey, they would put Kim at second and Cronenworth at first. That's what they're
So
talking
they're
about.
probably not going to re-sign. Who's the guy they got the first
Well,
baseman?
they had Bell. They had Josh
No,
Bell.
no. So probably won't. They. I mean, they probably can't
Yeah,
re-sign Bell.
I'm. Josh
I think they
Bell.
have. I mean, their window's pretty short because
Machado's a free agent after 2023.
he can opt out.
Yep.
What's this called? The
Soto,
right fielder Soto's gonna be. He's
2
gonna test the
years.
waters. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Unless they blow, they sold the farm, so I don't think
hmm
there's that many. I think this is kind of their next 2 years is
Well,
their window.
here's the nightmare. The nightmare scenario for somebody who lives in San Diego.
Every day.
Let's say the Padres do sign Trey Turner.
Yeah,
Who's Trey Turner's buddy?
Soto,
Juan
right?
Soto.
Hundred
Yes.
percent.
All of a sudden, Soto's like, hey, I got my guy back. He's going to be here for 8 years. I'm going to sign now.
With
If
Soto, but is Soto is he Boris?
he is Boris, but
Yeah.
if he really wants it, he'll stay. I mean, Soto seems like a very um he likes his boys. I think he really likes being a Padre. I think he likes um the vibe on that team.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I
Can
still
they
would.
afford Trey and Machado and Soto?
So
Maybe.
one of the reasons you consider Turner is because of the opt out that Machado has. Now,
Right.
if the Padres are really smart, and I always quite so Preller I know is really smart, but I think he's also he's a weirdo.
He's
He's
a kind
weird.
of quick with the trigger.
He's weird. No, I got enough background or
Oh, really?
back. He's a little weird. He's a strange guy. He doesn't understand. He's not a people person. He thinks he is, but he's not.
Yeah.
Um, but if they signed Trey, then Machado, it's a little bit of a backup if Machado opts out. But if I'm Preller, the first thing I do right now is I call Machado and I go, let's fix this now. Because Machado, in my opinion, I don't care what the results said, he was easily the MVP in all of baseball last year because he single-handedly brought that piece of crap team across the finish line. They were bad. I mean, Soto got there, he was
As
bad.
much
Bell
yeah, as
was
much as you don't
worse.
like Machado, he's performed.
I know. I
He's
am not a
performed.
Machado. I'm not a
You might not
Machado
like him as a
fan.
person but his play on the field has been
Machado. So I'm
what
gonna.
you paid him to be, right? A
Yeah.
star.
Well, in San Diego, he is beloved here. He is actually, and you
Of
know what?
course.
So
There's no reason he shouldn't be, right?
yeah, I mean,
He's play. I mean,
we're we
he
as
doesn't
Dodger
cower. Yeah.
as Dodger fans, we have good reason to be not happy with him. It had nothing to do with him leaving. It's how he performed and how he embarrassed himself and embarrassed the organization. Straight up. The World
His
Series,
antics, right? His kind
yeah,
of antics
straight
are
up
kind of
World Series game 3, eighth or ninth inning, he hits a ball, should have been a sure double. I'm looking and watching the ball, and I go look, and he's not even rounded first yet. Shame on
But you
that
don't
guy.
see that. You don't see that at San Diego. He
No,
doesn't do that
no,
stuff.
that's the thing.
He kind
He's
of
grown up. He's grown up.
he's the
So
guy. Like
yeah,
in the playoffs, he's the guy. Like he doesn't
yeah,
like he shows up and which
yeah.
did my cap to him, but
I think he's a little he's kind of got a weird personality in his ways, and
I think he probably has a chip on his shoulder.
he leads the way he thinks he needs to lead, but he's kind of
Oh,
one of those guys. Like a lot of these guys now, they have no grasp on reality because ever since he was probably 12 years old,
oh, he's been the
they
man.
knew he was been the man. The whole family gets on the gravy train. I see this all the time now.
Yeah.
You know, so they're on board. They're like Tiger Woods' dad. You
Mhm.
know, he's like, oh, I raised my son from since he was born to be a golfer. Now he was the one, following him all, doing everything with him, getting all
Yeah.
the taking glory. And
Right.
that's what a lot of parents do with all this travel baseball and all that stuff. And so they don't have a grasp on reality. And I don't think he has a grasp on reality. But you know what? He's making a good attempt. It started last year when he yelled at Tatis, and Tatis deserved it.
Well, I
And
think he's fed up. I think they're trying. I think Machado. I mean, the goal was make the postseason and
yeah, all that
compete.
was,
And when you're like doing whatever you're doing, it's just you're that guy. That's you're supposed to say like get in line or figure it out because no one else is. Who else on that team can tell anything to Tatis? Literally,
right,
who else? I mean, Tatis is
right.
hate him or love him, but he could probably be the
He's
again
amazing,
three
amazing talent.
PEDs, probably the
Yeah,
best talent in the majors.
yeah. He's right there, if not the top. He's close.
At
But
22,
it's the
23,
head. No, it's just he has to get his head together.
still young. He's
I
21,
know.
22. I know it's not
Hmm.
probably excusable, but he's
Well,
so
he's
young. My Lord,
yeah,
22, 20. Just with the
yeah.
world at his fingertips.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's getting on any motorcycles ever.
Well, I
He
mean, we'll
shouldn't.
see.
That was just
You-
stupid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
But
pretty bad.
Bumgarner did the
And then to
same
take
thing.
PEDs to kind of cover it up, it's kind
Yeah,
of
I mean Bumgarner did the same thing, right? He got wrecked. He got hurt on a motorcycle a few years ago. So it's not just well,
it's
let's
not just that
pick
exactly
on the young guy. It's just stupid decisions, and he made a stupid decision.
right.
But yeah, I think Tatis, my understanding is going to be in right, and then Soto in left.
That's actually that upgrades the defense.
It does.
Soto was pretty. I mean, I really like
Soto's
him.
bad out
I
there.
think he was pretty bad.
Yeah, he's terrible. It was funny. He got like he was
He
nominated.
tried.
He was nominated to be in the Golden Gloves. It's like, oh man, Tatis
Yeah,
is. I mean,
I
not
mean
Tatis.
that's
Soto
just
is
a
not.
joke.
Soto,
He was
in my
pretty
opinion,
bad.
yeah, Soto, in my opinion, becomes a DH. I think the way he's filling out, I think he's gonna have that heavy lower Jock Peterson half, and which is gonna
He
make.
already does, right? I mean,
I know
I
it's
think
gonna only
left
get
field is
worse.
probably,
He's only 23.
yeah,
So,
left field
so
is probably his destination if he's going to be on
mhm.
the field. Maybe first base. I mean, but do you want? I mean, I,
Well, who knows, right? They're gonna have to,
right?
and we don't know where he's gonna go. I think he
As
might.
bad as yeah, it's bad as
It's a,
he's Ted
it's a,
Williams. He's not a great fielder, but as bad as going to play.
yeah. I can tell you this: so Ted Williams would have never hit 240 in a season.
Right.
They keep saying that. It's like, yeah, he's got a great
Well,
eye.
yeah. He did
He's
change league. No, he didn't change leagues. I'm
no,
sorry.
he didn't, and he wasn't even hitting that well with Washington. So it's like,
What did he
I'm
end up? What was his end? The OPS was it?
it was still
I think
pretty
he
high
still
because
hit
of all
like
the
900,
walks.
right?
It's the walks. I mean,
Yeah.
but because the way he fit in with the Padres was interesting because they didn't need him to walk. They needed him to frickin' hit.
Slug.
Yeah, because all they had was Manny.
But he was in the top two in the batting order, right? For at the end of the year
Yeah. Oh, he
for that
was.
reason.
But they needed
I
him to hit.
mean, he still his OPS was 149 on a down season for
Yeah.
a 23-year-old. 5.6 WAR. I mean, his on base
But
percentage was 400.
what
That's
was
a
the slug? What
good
was the slug?
season, I would say.
What was the slug?
His slug was 451, which I'm sure it's going to come back. He's
Yeah.
probably a little bit comfortable. He still hit 27 home runs for
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah, but
Not
that's
horrible
not.
for a 22-year-old, right? Or a 23-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, he's been better. Let's put it that
Oh
way.
yeah, this is probably his worst season,
Oh yeah, it
and it
could.
was
Yeah.
still pretty good.
Yeah. Next year will be a big
He's gonna
season for
he's gonna
him.
play better. I take it.
Yeah.
His
But
Washington numbers, he was at 160 OPS. At San Diego, he was 130.
yeah.
So He was in line. It's probably he's never played outside of the Washington Nationals. It
Well,
was probably
there was a
so
lot of
young.
pressure.
He's probably
There was
emotional.
a lot of pressure on those guys that coming
Right.
in, but I don't
I'm,
know.
he'll do better next year.
I'll like Ted Williams was Flying in World War II. The year
Yeah, that was
before
not the same,
he had
right? I'm talking about the
406,
batting
man.
profile. Yeah,
He had
that was a little
406.
different.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Ted Williams is
he
the logo, right?
huh?
He's the logo
Is he?
for MLB. Yeah, that's Ted Williams.
Is that Ted? Oh, okay,
He is the
that's
face
kind
of
of
like.
cool.
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
mean, Williams also had the good eye, and Soto has a great eye. There's
yeah.
no doubt about that.
Well, yeah.
But and
I think they
I
do compare him to Ted Williams because that's literally the closest comp you can do you can get for what Soto's been doing.
yeah. Well,
I think he
he's
was a
gonna have to
19-year-old. That's
yeah
he was performing in
yeah.
MLB as a 19-year-old.
But
That's why.
Washington gave him a chance.
Right. Well, I
That's the
think the Dodgers
thing.
would have given him a chance if because he was at what his OPS was at 450 and AAA as a 19-year-old. I mean,
Yeah.
there was
But
no way. I mean, you just can't really deny that.
yeah. Well, the Dodgers need to do the same thing with some of their guys, give them a shot because they might be losing some of the best prime years of some of these guys. That's kind of the way I look at it. I mean, at least Washington, they got everything they could out of him, and they got
Well,
five or
at
six
the
good
same time,
prospects.
Washington, I don't think they had a better option in right field.
Yeah.
And you know what? Seager was in the majors at what, 1920? He
Who
was
was
he was another generational talent.
who was that?
Or Seager,
Oh yeah, yeah,
if you can play, the Dodgers will play. But you got to be better than what you have at the MLB level,
yeah. Well, that's
and
what, and
it's
they
got to
do
make
right.
sense,
I mean, that's the thing. I think there's those opportunities right now
right?
that I don't have a problem with going. Um, okay, we've got. Let's say I'm going to use Ryan Noda as an example.
That's another guy problem,
We're not going to play him at first base because obviously we have Freddie Freeman. But let's
right?
say that it was um, Eric Hosmer. Frickin' Doc is still probably playing Hosmer.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Instead of
That's
going, give
frustrating.
these guys a real chance
Yeah,
because they don't have the guys that are. This is the weakest the Dodgers going in the offseason they've been in a long time. If you look at it, all the gaps. But
last
they,
year was probably worse. Well,
mm-mm.
our starting pitcher last. I mean, people were
No, I'm
like,
just talking
"What are
about
we
like the
doing here?"
starters. I'm talking about
The
the lineup.
yeah,
I mean, really, there's only three for sure, probably four with Lux. But
yeah.
going because remember going into last year, Bill Plaschke writing, this is possibly the greatest lineup of all time. I mean, they
Last
were
time was
going.
pretty good.
I mean,
It was
especially when they added Freddie,
yeah,
but they were
paper.
talking because remember before Freddie was there, Muncy was going to be the first baseman.
Right, and
And
he had just come off surgery.
he didn't even have surgery.
He didn't for
No,
his elbow.
nope, no
I,
surgery.
I thought he had
He probably should have because it cost
probably
him
should he probably shouldn't even. Yeah, just a lot of things.
him a lot. It cost him a lot last year. Cost him a lot of pride, probably those numbers, man. But hopefully he's healthy.
But he was no he was coming back the last
Mhm.
month and a half. I mean he was
He
getting
was.
back.
Well, he
And you
did
can't
that.
he tried you got the maxi the shuffle.
Yeah, I still can't even figure that out.
He
I
goes
mean,
back to move
how the
forward.
heck do you do that with your back foot? It's like, okay, whatever, to
It
get
worked
that
though.
rhythm.
Whatever
I
he did,
did.
like just keep doing it because he
Yeah,
was his swing is a little flatter too, which has
yeah,
him on the lower line drive. So
yeah.
we'll see moving
Well,
forward.
and with Max, I keep forgetting about him as because if he comes back to what he was, which is 240 hitter, but 35 homers,
380 on base,
three
400,
to 400 on base.
500 slugging.
Uh-huh.
He
That's
was he was our
huge.
best player until he got hurt like the week before the
Oh,
postseason. He
that was
was
the
what, four and a
worst.
half, almost five WAR
That
player.
was so good.
That's past All Star. That's like super. That's
Yeah.
fringe
That
superstar level.
yeah, when he went down, I knew that they were done. I
He was
mean,
our best like hitter,
yeah,
and it wasn't even close.
you don't recover from that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, we got a trade deadline still to deal with to go get a new player. Nope,
A
you
week
got
before, what
nothing.
are you gonna do?
Yeah, Steven Souza. You got Andy Burns. I mean, that's what
Andy
they ended up.
Burns, I mean, God
Dude,
bless that man, but
I know.
you're probably not gonna, fill in Matt Muncie's
Yeah,
shoes.
that's not what you want at the end of the year when your team gets hurt. But I think that yeah, Muncie, if he can bounce back, ooh man, that just becomes so much better.
But he at least, compared to like Bellinger, like he had a month and a half,
Hmm.
like he had
He did.
signs, like there was a noticeable difference.
Yeah, no, he got remember his average
And
was
I
like
think moving forward, I think we can
170. He was
say it
like
again.
170. He was like at 170
Yeah, he was
by
back.
July. He was at Joey Gallo type numbers.
The
But
thing with also Muncie
he
is that
got
his
back up. He
discipline
got back
never
up.
left. It was just
Uh,
fixing that swing.
yeah,
The discipline was always there. It's just he couldn't really. I mean, his bat wasn't doing much, but
right,
once he got his bat stroke back, I mean, that's a good thing about players with play discipline is that you're not gonna get nothing, absolutely nothing for like 3 months. He's
right.
gonna tinker in with off base. He's gonna walk, until he figures, if it comes back, and when it comes back,
Yeah.
what you get.
I was, the way I give players 4 months. That's kind of my thing. That's why I want to, like with Lux, I wanted to give 4 months. It worked. Um, I want to give Vargas 4 months, but I was also giving Bellinger and Muncy 4 months. But the
Bellinger's had
funny,
2.5 years,
I
right?
know, but you're just going, okay, he's supposed to be healthy now. But with Muncy, it took more than 4 months. It took 4.5 months for him
Yeah.
to get it going again. Because I had tweeted a couple times like, I think for now, if the I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers move Bellinger and or Muncy.
Yeah.
And now they didn't, but it wouldn't have surprised me, especially if they would have found a way to get Soto. Um,
Right.
and I still
But
would have pulled it.
I
I would
think
have
the
pulled the trigger on that
I
guy.
think
But
the Dodgers they're not. I think they're gonna sign somebody or they're gonna trade somebody. They're gonna do something. I don't think they sit
yeah,
back. I mean, it's just not their style.
it's either that or they have to anoint.
I think they are. I think yeah, Vargas is they're not gonna hold him back. He did a whole year in AAA. There's nothing
yeah,
they're gonna learn anything else. I mean,
I
there's
know.
nothing for him to prove.
Yeah,
Bush is gonna be one of those. Is he gonna play? I think they play or trade him because they
has
gain
to be.
nothing from adding another season at AAA. I think Outman is clearly shown that AAA. I mean, AAA seems like his any numbers. I mean, just doesn't seem Double A. He got promoted. He did great.
Hmm.
Triple A. I mean, it doesn't seem like you're just wasting another year.
Yeah, I
And there's a
agree.
need at the major league level with they don't let Bellinger go. I think if they don't have Outman at center at Triple A.
Yeah, and to me, again, we acknowledge our love for Bellinger, but 700,000 for maybe
3 years,
better production than 18
3 years, yeah.
million.
And probably
It's just
better. I mean, honestly, just Bellinger was 1.5 WAR. I think
yeah,
a full season Outman you get 3
it could be.
between the
Yeah,
outfield defense and
yeah.
his. I
But even if let's say Bellinger even technically has a better year, he's not going to provide as much bang for the buck.
moving forward because it's not just this year.
Yeah,
Then Outman next year has a year under his belt. He's probably going to perform better.
right.
And then
Yeah,
that's just kind of how it is. Same thing with Vargas.
yeah.
He
No,
this year,
I think
next year's going to be better.
I think it was again kind of a bummer to lose Bellinger, but it was a good bet.
I
I
think yeah, I think it just how what makes the most sense for the Dodgers
yeah,
and the farm moving forward.
yeah.
The options you have.
And maybe if he again Boris is a factor in this. If
Yeah.
Boris isn't his agent, maybe he's back with the Dodgers.
One thing I think Boris is kind of on the side with the Dodgers where it's a 1 year deal.
Yeah,
I think that would work for whoever, but I just don't think the Dodgers have better internal options than moving forward. And who knows if they sign? Judge is still on the table.
yeah. They're saying he's getting 9 years. That's on I mean, Yankees already offered him 300, and then the Giants want him allegedly, and And the Yankees,
Whoever
I'm
one
sure
wants,
will
let's be honest,
throw
everyone
another
wants.
year in. I'm sure the Yankees will throw that one more year in if they have to. Um, I actually hope he stays with the Yankees. I'm not a Yankee fan. It just
Yeah.
seems that for him, I think he has a Hall of Fame path.
Oh,
But if he
100%.
goes to the Giants, I think it goes down because I think the home runs go down by at least 10 per season.
Yeah.
And which probably some base hits taken away too.
Right.
Yankee Stadium, he's got that, short right field porch. He just throws his bat out there and it goes out. I
You gotta
mean,
think also, I mean, for at least I don't think he sees eye to eye as much with, he's not as enamored with management at the with the Yankees as, maybe. And
it
that's you gotta think about. You're gonna
could be.
you're gonna commit 10, 8 years of your life moving forward and you're kind of already on bad terms, maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
wasn't he insulted with the extension?
yeah, he was. I mean, I
And
didn't
there's
think it was
obviously
that
like
bad.
there's
It was
things in the
what,
press that
200 and something. But I look at, it sounds like DeGrom really wanted out of the Mets.
maybe,
I mean,
but DeGrom maybe he's pitching back home again. DeGrom, this was his first year of free agency,
yeah,
so maybe he took the money. No, there's
yeah.
different
But I
factors.
mean, he got the money and he got out of the Mets situation.
Yeah,
I've always thought, to me, the Mets have just been dysfunctional for a long time. Despite, I know they had a nice season, but they still, man, they went in the tank. They fell apart.
yeah. I was gonna say probably they choked. They
They can,
lost.
yeah, they
They
can
lost
say
the
all
division,
the Braves got really hot. It doesn't matter. They still choked.
but they didn't play well. I mean, they were up what 10 games, or I mean,
Yeah,
they should have won that division.
losing 10 games is a choke, right?
I would say if you're up the first
Yeah,
that long. I mean, the Braves were in first place for like a total of what 14 days,
maybe, yeah.
right?
But
I mean,
they
like,
were they were there when it counted, and the Mets
and the
weren't.
Mets choked. They weren't.
Yeah,
They met. They met to
yeah, they did. There's a I know I'm not I doubt we'll have any Mets fans on here, but I'm not a fan of their fans much. They're just I don't know. This is kind of a
they're
weird.
cocky for a team that just really hasn't done too much.
I know they're a
And they
weird
came after
team.
the Dodgers very aggressively, and the
But
fans.
what's funny is it seems like half those East Coast reporters are Mets fans.
Well, there's always that East Coast bias, which is
Yeah.
outrageous.
Oh, you could, when DeGrom signed yesterday, all of a sudden you see, guys like Heyman, Joel Sherman, a few others going bonkers, you know, basically defending the Mets and justifying the Mets losing him. Like, nice
I mean,
reporting.
there's very much a slight in the press where it's East Coast just
Hmm.
they
Well,
they they basically play him up a lot more than
they don't stay up late to watch the Dodgers. I mean, or the Padres
one
or
of
the
like
Giants, right?
100%.
They only get that one view of the world and they think it all revolves around that. But
Right.
hey, it's gonna
And
be
it's true.
it's gonna be interesting this year though, because they're playing every team this year.
Right.
So
But if they play on the West Coast, they'll probably fall asleep though. But
it's gonna be different. Oh man. Hey, because my youngest is in Florida and
yeah,
I was there, a few days over summer and it was rough being a Dodger fan,
in
listening to
Florida,
games like it's freaking midnight, it's one
yeah, man.
o'clock,
Game starts at
one
the game
o'clock, one
starts at 10,
thirty.
11, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the game ends at 10:30. No, it's at 1:30. My son doesn't he can't watch near as much
Right.
anymore. He
Unless you
gotta
record it, but
he
it's kind
gotta
of an
sleep.
ordeal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean if I know the score, I can't go watch it again.
Yeah.
I
You
just
already know.
can't.
Yeah, it's not the same.
So yeah, I think my fandom would take a huge hit. But there are people. There's people on the East Coast that watch them. There, my friend Gail Johnson, also Formula Dodgers Nation. She lives in, Canada, East
Oh,
Canada,
man.
and
Really?
she's up. She watches every game. She's
Wow,
up
that's
for all of
crazy.
them. Then was it what's that? Andy Lane Chapman? She's in Pennsylvania.
Same
She's
thing,
staying
right? There's no
up.
ridiculous.
Same thing. It's like, man,
But Dodgers do have a hardcore fan base.
they do.
I don't think that many, East Coasters are staying up to watch the Diamondbacks. They have a I mean, the Dodgers are one of the
Yeah,
faces of the MLB. I mean,
they
aside
really
from
are.
Especially, I mean, even more so. I mean, these past decade, the Dodgers have been the model team. I mean, that's the Mets. That's
Yeah,
the Mets who they model their whole.
yeah.
It's
It's
been the
all
Dodgers.
yeah, they just
Every
want to they want to be the Dodgers, and
100%. The East
you're
Coast Dodgers is exactly from the owner's exact quote from the owner. So
yeah. Of course, he's not following it though, because the first thing he does is go spend a ton of money on free agents and loses all his draft picks. But what can you do?
right, quick
And he's
fixes,
gonna
right?
he's gonna probably do the same thing. He's probably gonna go out and get Rodon and a couple others because he's gonna throw a fit for losing
Who's gonna
DeGrom.
have to? I mean, because they built it up, and then who's gonna? Wheeler would have probably been a nicer
Yeah,
re-sign
I know,
side, I think, right? But
dude.
who's
That
gonna fill in DeGrom shoes? That's for another,
well, remember they're also Chris Bassett's leave is a free agent now. I think
right?
I he's a free agent, and then Taiwan Walker. Um,
So
there's
they've
also
lost
they
60%
lost.
of their rotation
Uh-huh. Yeah.
unless they re-sign somebody.
Yeah. Now, the one problem, like with Chris Bassett, to me is I've never been that impressed with him,
Right. He's a
but
three starter, right?
he has a qualifying offer attached to him. He's not going anywhere. No one's going to touch that. You don't give up
We'll
your
see. Well,
you
it's
don't.
probably like a Rocky move, right? The Rockies will offer him like years,
Yeah,
60 millions.
they're a little different,
For
aren't they?
no
Yeah,
reason.
they're desperate. They're just desperate for pitching. I mean, but maybe maybe the Rangers go for him too, since they've already lost their pick with DeGrom.
Yeah, what's another?
Yeah. No, they're going all in. I mean, but a guy like Chris Bassett's not when they made the trade for him last year, people are like, oh, this helps the Mets have a top three rotation. No, not really. I don't think so. I
Walker
don't
was
think
pretty good, but I mean,
Bassett's fine, but I don't
yes,
even
it's okay. Yeah, he's okay. I mean, he's not gonna, he's not
tell
gonna make
you,
playoffs. So
dude looked like crap against the when they needed to win that game, he was
yeah.
terrible.
Well, he's kind of like a nibbler, right? He doesn't have
Hmm.
like blow. You think a blow you by. He's kind of just a finesse.
Yeah, and he's 34. I didn't even realize that he's that old. And so it's like I'm not. That's man. If the Dodgers come up and sign that guy, I'm going to be so
There's no, I mean,
upset.
he wouldn't even start. I mean, he'd probably be the fifth starter, but he's not. He's another. He'd be someone who's not better than what we have currently.
Let's.
Is he better than Gosselin? Is he
I
better than
don't. I
May?
don't. I sometimes
Right?
I
I mean,
just wonder.
that's why with the Dodgers, you
Yeah,
need an impact or just let the Dodgers pitchers
go go with the kids.
like
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, go with the kids if you can't get if you don't get a Rodon or
And you have
Verlander.
so many kids at AAA that are like legit.
Hmm. They're
As much
ready.
as people like don't like Pepiot, like his season at AAA in a hitter-friendly league was phenomenal.
Yeah,
But and it's a
people are.
hitter-friendly league.
It's a hitter friendly, and they're just not taking into account what Pepiot went through last year.
Yeah,
So
I mean, his first cup in the MLB's
yeah,
nervous. I mean,
but remember, he would get called up
yeah,
and then put on the taxi squad for a day or two, then be
one
sent back
start,
to
then go back
Oklahoma.
down. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think he only started twice.
he didn't have a legit runway to just
No, yeah, and
figure it out.
it was like don't do this to this kid.
But even then, the final, I mean, he finished with like a 3.5 ERA. Like
I know. Yeah,
his
it,
walks were
it,
high, but his strikeouts were high. His hits were low. I
yeah.
mean,
The
for
issue,
what he did, I mean, like it's kind of like that Price, where like everyone hates Price, but he's like 2.70 ERA. Like
yeah,
he doesn't do bad, but there's just kind of this negative notion.
yeah. Well, and even with Pep, I mean, he wasn't giving up a lot of hits. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he finished with like a 3.5 ERA,
yeah,
and this is like
yeah.
his worst. He was
It's the
pretty bad.
walks. It was the
His
walks.
walks was bad. I mean, he go like maybe 2.5 innings, 90 pitches, which is pretty bad.
I
But
know.
he's young.
I
He's young,
know.
and he's probably gonna
He's
figure it out.
young. He's young, and he's playing. He's pitching every game because he already knows he's getting sent back.
Yeah,
That's the thing. And so it's like,
and he's
you
probably
know,
trying too hard to stay up. He's trying to
yeah,
let it go
the
nine
runway is the
perfect
key. Like you
innings.
said it. You have to
But
give these
this year, I
kids
feel
runway.
that
Yeah.
fifth
Let
spots
let
probably his
Pepiot
to lose.
let
I
Pepiot
would
or
think, but
whoever
we'll see.
whoever it is they're going to put in that fifth spot, give them 10 starts. No
Yeah,
matter no matter
100%.
what happens, give them 10 starts. Don't skip them because of an off day or anything. Give them 10 starts. Keep them on a normal schedule. Let them see what they can do. If it doesn't work, bring up the next guy. And if it doesn't
Right,
work
and
with
I
him,
think
bring up the next guy.
he had a full season at AAA. If anyone between him, Stone, and Miller, I mean, he's probably the guy. You let Stone and Miller get some more season in
Yeah.
AAA,
Yep.
and you see what. I mean, he can easily. I mean, if he can get, because he didn't really get that many swings and misses on his changeup as he got in AAA.
No, yeah, yeah.
70
I mean
grade pitch.
that's
That's
just
a 70 grade.
it's
That's
discipline. That's a plate discipline thing. I mean,
It's probably, I mean, he's probably overthrowing it, or maybe he's trying to throw it 90 grade.
I
Who knows?
know. Well, I mean, every time you'd see Pepiot when he missed, most of the time it was on the fastball or changeup, and it was in that right-handed batter's box.
Right. And his fastball didn't. He couldn't throw a strike with his fastball.
Yeah, it would
Probably
just
sat
it
on his
kept
changeup
moving.
because
It kept moving out of the zone, and it was
sit on his changeup because
and
it's gonna.
well, it was moving. It was moving also because it was like I can't remember who said it. It was probably Hershiser or something. Out of the hand, it wasn't a strike.
Right.
It's when it comes out of the hand and then it moves at the end where it
What
comes out
a
of the
lot of
zone
his
is where
pitches
it's
weren't
at.
competitive. There weren't competitive
Yeah.
balls.
But I think that's just it's a matter of getting used to things,
Yeah.
getting an
I
environment,
think it was
getting the
overblown.
runway, give him 10 starts without interruption, and I
Right.
think he's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Not everyone is like a Seager or a Bellinger where they just or an Outman, they just explode and
Yeah.
that doesn't change their career trajectory, in my
No,
opinion.
it shouldn't. It just the Dodgers have to give him that chance, and
Yeah,
that's not even Doc. I mean, that's the front office
yeah,
putting one of your top pitching prospects, putting him on a bad path, putting him on the Mitchell White
right.
thing. Like Mitchell White. Now Mitchell White had
No, yeah.
been a higher prospect, but at the end of the day, he wasn't. He was a guy. He was a guy.
Mitchell White never. I don't. He didn't have the season at AAA or
No.
the
Yeah.
continued stuff.
Yeah. He was just a guy that could go out and throw some innings and did okay.
Right.
Nothing wrong with it, but I'm glad that the trade they made was a good trade. They got
I would
that.
say it's a phenomenal trade.
Yeah, that
Toronto, right?
the
Or was that
pitching
was?
prospect they got for him.
I
Um,
mean, that's
mm,
felony robbery right there.
could be, could
I
be. Yeah,
I think yeah. In the Dodger system,
I know.
I think he is going to be a sleeper like in 2024.
Yeah,
He's a sleeper, bullpen a rotation guy.
yeah. So I mean, I see those types of things. They treated him like just a normal run of the mill guy they didn't care about versus like, no, this is a valuable prospect.
Michael White.
Yeah, Mitchell White.
I'm sorry, Mitchell White.
They treated Pepiot like Mitchell White.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have
Well,
done that.
I think Mitchell was a good call. I think his, if you're going to throw someone in the fire, it's going to be Mitchell White. And then, Pepiot still was, I mean, his first season AAA. So I think
Yeah.
the seasoning there, you
No,
got
it was the right thing
yeah.
but Mitchell White in 2021 was
Well,
on the
moving forward,
plane
I think you
10
give them
times.
respect.
He was on the plane 10 times back and forth.
Yeah.
And they
I
did it
think they
six
were
times
down to
with
the last.
Pepiot. Six
I think
times.
they're down to the last, option where if not, he could be a free agent, right?
No, he couldn't have come back.
Oh,
Are
that's
you
right.
talking about White or Pepiot?
Pepiot. I think.
No, Pepiot was just no. It wouldn't have been a free agent. He just would have. He couldn't come back up
Right.
without
He was
going
his
through a
last
waiver
option.
process, and they were
Right.
going to do that.
Right.
But yeah, and the only reason it was six times is because there was an injury replacement in there one of the times. But yeah, and they did it to Grove too, and it wasn't. It just
Just another guy, Grove. I completely forget about him.
yeah. I mean, neither one of those guys said a word about it, but I know it's an issue. It has to be an
Well, I
issue.
mean, yeah, you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna complain, but
Yeah,
it's not. It's obviously not ideal.
right.
Getting your routine down, or just knowing where you're pitching next, or having
It,
any
it
security to pitch your. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be an issue.
yeah.
Completely forgot about Grove. It's another guy that He
He
could
looked
take off.
good. Yeah, he looked good. There's a lot there.
I think he actually looked better than White. I mean, I'm sorry, than Pepiot.
In a few starts he did.
Great.
Yeah, he did. His control was better. But he gave up more hits than innings pitched. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Right.
But I was really happy for him because he's a guy that struggled for a long time post Tommy John. It took him a long time to recover. Really, it took him, I think he had the surgery in either late 2017 or early 2018. He didn't really start pitching well again until like August of 2021. That
Yeah,
was
I
how
didn't. I
tough it
think
was
I
for
thought
him.
I had kind of wrote him off as kind of like it just didn't work out
Yeah, a lot of people did.
because
And
he
I
was
understand
six
that.
ERA like and good for him like even like all the work and just not giving up. Good for him.
It is kind of amazing. Where how he was able to do that. So I
Right.
mean, geez, oh yeah. I mean, players like that. This shows there's again grows another high character guy,
100%.
real high character, and it shows. He's so and these are the things that I notice. I'm in the Dodger clubhouse with the press pass, and he comes over and says hi.
Right.
He doesn't have to do that, but he does. Him and Vargas, they remember me from Rancho.
Right.
I'm just a scrub, man. Hoping to get a press pass. Half the 3/4 of the time I get denied. You
Right.
know, so and for them, I always, how do you treat? It's kind of like, hey, how do you treat a waitress,
100%.
right? If you
Right.
treat a waitress like crap, you're crap. And
Right.
if you treat the lowest of the low on the media or whatever like that, it
Right.
shows a lot about you. And so
100%.
I look at guys like that. Same with Pep, right? I mean,
Yeah.
these are
100%.
these are Outman too. They're phenomenal at that. So you root those are easy to guys to root for. We do have high quality characters on the team, um, and the Dodgers are obviously they care about that stuff. They
Oh,
really,
I think that's the clubhouse culture and the how you fit in.
yeah.
I think that's into the equation is your character, your
Hmm.
when they do draft, I think it also you have a better chance of reaching your potential.
Hmm.
Uh, if you have a high character, you're not out messing up or you stay focused.
Yeah, the
Character
high
trait,
character and a willingness to learn.
100%.
If they have that, those are Dodgers. If they're not, they don't. I think
They
players,
yeah,
there's probably free agents out there, or there's probably other players that they could have traded for that they probably didn't because they're not willing to change.
yeah, 100%.
But look at Tyler Anderson. Look at Chris Martin. They just got paid, and they would have not got paid without becoming Dodgers, and
And see,
without
Almonte's
being
on that list too. Phillips is on that list,
yeah, without being willing to learn, they're not getting paid.
100%.
Tyler Anderson's probably
Muncy,
now he's probably with the Marlins this year
oh,
at a
probably
$5 million
fighting
contract.
for a spot. Yeah,
Yeah. And Chris Martin's probably back in Japan or something like that. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
it's a huge difference. So yeah, we got good group. I just want to see them get a chance. As
I
you
think
can
you do. I think
I've
that's
been
gonna be fair, but I feel that if they can play, if they're good, if they're ready, the Dodgers will plug them in. I do.
yeah, I hope so because last year was frustrating to me when they go, hey, let's bring up Vargas, let's give him some runway to try to earn a playoff spot. He earned a playoff spot, but he still
They
only
play.
got 40 at bats,
But
and then
I
he
think
didn't
that
even
was on purpose to just kind
he
of
didn't even
like get
play.
him used to the experience, expose him, because next year I think he's going to be expected to play,
But I
and
think
that's
he
why same thing with Alman. I don't think they're going to throw him
mm,
into the fire, you know, a month before the playoffs and be like, "You're our guy," like good luck or I don't know.
I know, but
I think
it can work.
if you're in long term, you're in the long term plans, they're going to ease you in and provide a long runway so that you can succeed.
Yeah, they did throw Seager into it though in 2015, right in the middle of
He
it.
was but he and that was the right call. He
Yeah,
was ready,
yeah. I
and he's
think
a generational talent. People forget,
I think Vargas is too. That's the
I
thing.
think so too.
I think
I
that's
think so too.
and I think that as Doc has and the management has gotten older with more experience, I think they're actually playing favorites too much.
They're what?
Playing favorites too much with their own guys.
I think
They have
more
long
so.
term. They
Yeah.
have like. Remember, Doc wasn't the manager when Seager was the shortstop. It was Donnie Dum Dum,
But then who did Seager replace at shortstop?
the great Dodger great Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a no-brainer, right?
It was time. I mean, J. Roll
Because
was
I
on.
think he got a cup of tea and or he got a September call up, and then
Mhm.
Jimmy wasn't. They just didn't resign him.
Yeah, but Corey played most of the playoff games, and um, yeah. But I just they did. Remember Bellinger being brought up in 2017, and here's a funny thing: I actually met Farhan Zaidi right around that time. He was at a high school baseball game
Yeah,
scouting down in San Diego. It was a big lot of prospects playing in the one game. And I met Farhan, and it was like there was already talk of sending Cody back. And I'm like, please. And I shook his hand, introduced myself, and then I
yeah,
go. Then when I left, I go, just please don't send Cody back.
yeah.
But he
That's
wasn't
right.
meant.
Oh,
They didn't mean to stay. They weren't going to keep him up. But
yeah.
they did give him runway, and he earned it. And I just hope they do that with these guys. I think if they do, it'll probably be a mixed bag. I don't expect all of our prospects to be all stars, but I do expect one or two of them to be.
And there's no way you find out if you don't play.
Exactly. Exactly. Play them or trade them, right?
It's the only way you find out is you play the game, right?
Yeah. All right, dude. It's been long, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
was just
God.
gonna say I got they're barging in right now.
Yeah. Well, let's end it. I mean, there's a lot here. It's kind of like a Joe Rogan interview almost. My
There
gosh.
you
Or Lex
go.
Friedman. My goodness, we're going way too long, I guess. That's cool. Winter meetings. I will be there tomorrow. No press pass, but I will be there
Best
tomorrow.
of luck. Hope you enjoy. It's probably
Yeah,
exciting to be there.
be ready just in case we have big Dodger news. We'll try to.
100%.
I'll do something, and if I could do a group, it'll be great. If not, I'll
Yeah,
go solo.
perfect.
But Dodger fans, these are fun times. There's a lot to be excited about. We have a team that's a mixture of youth and veterans and future Hall of Famers and possible future Hall of Famers. And this next week might change the ball game a little bit. Worst case, the Dodgers go in with a bunch of top prospects getting a chance to play. So I think that's kind of that's not the worst case scenario.
Right.
So, you got any last thoughts?
No, just I think we exhausted all our last thoughts. But yeah, just excited. A lot of action should come in the next week, hopefully, ideally, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have if there's anything that happens, we'll definitely do a blast next week also with all three of us together.
Perfect.
If nothing happens, maybe we'll wait another week. But at least we might do some live quick stuff, but then we'll want to think about stuff and then maybe
Yeah,
record something next weekend for
perfect.
everyone to see. We appreciate everyone for listening, following, and if you're still with us at over 2 hours, thank you very much. Please pass along our share our information, link, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please comment. We want to know what you think. We want your questions because your questions can help drive our conversations, that's for
100%.
sure. So we appreciate you all. Alex, I appreciate you hanging out with me
Likewise.
this late. And we will see you soon. And go Dodgers.
Dodgers. Go Dodgers 2080.
There you go.